The following program contains adult language and juvenile conversations. Listener discretion is advised.
The weekend of April 12th and 13th, the Deadites' 25th anniversary celebration weekend. Ah, fuck it. Welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Zombies. You're listening to Trick or Treat Radio, starring the Deadites.
Welcome to episode 344 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is a phantasmagorical spin kick straight through the heart of pop culture, navigated by the Deadites. The Deadites are the world's greatest electroshock band. We destroy monsters, we drink booze, we win championship belts. And once again, this is becoming a bit of a trend, but we're kicking things off with an interview. Although I hesitate to call it an interview because I think over the last year or two, we've become friends with our next guest. And we are now introducing Fred Carlini from Mixtape Massacre, and Fred's here to talk all about the upcoming Kickstarter campaign for Escape from Tall Oaks. I am so excited to hear about this. Fred, welcome to Trick or Treat Radio again, my friend.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Doing awesome, man. It's great to have you back.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
Yeah.
When was the last time I did this? Like during the Black Mask?
Yeah, I think it was, because I look back at the promotional stuff, and I think that was the last time I created artwork for it was the Black Mask.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think you guys just hit your you guys just hit your goal, I think.
Yeah. I think that's right.
The night that you were on.
Look at
that's
the
right.
Memory on Brad over here.
So you guys you guys didn't like rest on your laurels and slow down after that, huh?
Yeah, no, we things actually after the Kickstarter really picked up. And we've gone through a lot of printings of the game, and it keeps seeming to find new fans and things like that. We started releasing some like minor releases in between big releases, like booster packs and stuff like that. And people are really starting to like enjoy the little world we're creating. So that's always a cool thing. Yeah,
absolutely. The booster packs were cool, and it was just sort of like an add-on of like you buy a pack for, I believe they were selling for $10, and you basically get more game for you. I think it's a really cool idea because and especially in between games and expansion packs to be able to put extra gameplay out like that.
Yeah, for sure. That's part of the idea behind it is like Matt and MJ and I, we between all these big releases, we wanted to still have something because fans are always asking for new content. So it became kind of a cool thing to kind of make and get to tell more funny stories and make more funny scenes. So that's always fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's cool that you guys were able to put those out. And so you did sort of allude to Escape from Tall Oaks last time that you were on, but I'm sure you can tell us a lot more about it right now. And let me just let people know out there that the Kickstarter campaign, if you're not listening live, or if you are listening live and want to find out more, the Kickstarter campaign is launching on Wednesday, March 6th. Is that correct, Fred?
Yep, next Wednesday.
Awesome. So we got you a week ahead of things, and tell people what they can expect from Escape from Tall Oaks.
So the idea with Escape from Tall Oaks was actually something we came up when we originally made the game. We always wanted to make it possible for players to be able to play as the victims as much as they would have the chance to play as the killers. But when it got down to it, we wanted to release the game and get it up on Kickstarter. So we initially just went with you're playing as the killers, taking everyone out. And so it was kind of cool that we waited on it because as the game grew and it got a bigger fan base and we started hearing more and more about things people wanted to see out of the game, it allowed us to like further craft this game. Yeah. So I think when people get their hands on this, they're going to be pretty surprised. There's definitely a lot more depth to this game compared to the original. And there's a lot more elements and layers to it. Mm-hmm. But it's still the thing we wanted to keep in mind no matter what was, no matter how much we added into it, no matter how much we had to push strategy with this game, we still wanted to make it approachable and simple to learn like the original game. So that was pretty key for us in coming up with the game. And the cool thing is, like we said, you're going to be playing as the survivors in this one. There'll be a lot of elements from the old game, like killer scenes and bonus tracks. But in this instance, you'll actually be doing the rescues, and you'll be trying to rescue your friends.
Nice.
While that's happening, you're also working together to solve tasks in the town, like getting the power back on, sending out distress calls, things like that. But at the same time, you're also still working against each other, because at the end of the game, only one group of friends is going to be able to escape. So there are chances to betray each other. There are chances to screw each other over. You can make noise in this game, and when you make noise, it calls out some of the familiar like horror characters that we've created. Like you've got your kind of possessed girl Sarah from the original game. She's back stalking the characters. You've got your killer clown Smiley. He's stalking the characters. And then kind of your big bad of the game, of course, is the mascot of the original, Legend. And basically, he'll be like your final boss of the game that you have to beat before you escape the town.
Yep.
And one of the cool elements with this game is that we're also allowing players to search locations. So once you defeat a location and it's empty, you can search it, get new supplies. That supplies can help you, but at the same time, some supplies will make noise, like guns or chainsaws and things like that. So things like that are popping up while you're playing the game. But again, it's something we wanted to keep that was going to keep the game still fun, still retro in nature, and still have that cool 80s nostalgia vibe.
Yeah, and it seems like you guys have definitely, I mean, from everything I've seen, have definitely kept that spirit alive, and that's one of the things I think that really resonated with folks is it just was relatable in the fact that it's the horror that we grew up with, that we love, but it also has that element of sort of the music aspect of things, even though there's not directly music in the game. But you guys create a playlist, and a lot of the designs is very evocative of that sort of aesthetic. So, I think you guys definitely have that nailed down.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, man. So yeah, the biggest thing though with this game that we wanted to do was one of the things that we hate as gamers, and that's playing video games or anything else, is it's kind of like when I buy, back in the day, you'd buy Madden 95, Madden 96, Madden 97, et cetera, and you're just always investing in a new game, and your old games basically become useless.
Obsolete.
Yeah, what we wanted to do with this was we wanted to make it that you could actually hook up the old game to the new game.
Yeah.
And make it killers versus survivors.
Oh,
nice.
Cool.
I am rock hard right now.
So one of the cool things about the game is that the old game is kind of like the south side of the town, and the new game is kind of the north side of the town. And you can cross between both of them. You can explore the different locations, go after each other, things like that. So whereas the game itself is actually a standalone game, it also is technically an expansion as well if you have the original game. So It's one of those things where if you're just getting into the game and you're just joining in, you've got a game to play. But if you have the old game, it makes it so that old game hasn't gone to waste.
That's amazing. And I actually didn't know that aspect of it. I know you guys were sort of trying to build this world, so to speak, but I didn't realize that. And I think that's such a cool element. And so to go back to is just talking about Escape from Tall Oaks so it's more of it's a cooperative game. Like, can you play it just as a co-op game, or?
So it's meta cooperative.
Okay.
You're all working towards the same goal and sometimes working with each other.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a survival horror game. So at the end of the day, only one group of people can make it out.
Right.
So that'll kind of be the fun part about it is that though slowly you're like, okay, hey, I'm going to pass this task off to you and help you complete this, or I'll go defeat this guy for you. It's going to get to a point in the game where you're eventually going to turn on each other and try to work against each other to get to the end.
I got you. Okay. So, so there are definitely cooperative elements, and you could play it that way, but there's also going to be a time when you sort of going to have to turn on your friends.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's like this show.
It's like every week. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I always thought that was something that was in 80s films, is where like the groups starts out and they're all like, all right, we got to get away from the killers, we got to work together, and then slowly the egos come out and things like that, and you slowly start to work against each other, or someone sacrifices someone else to the killer so they can get away. And it's just, again, it's that whole thing from like 80s horror that was just always hilarious. And we've got those stereotypes in the game. Each character is like your cliche stereotype. You've got your jock, you've got your cheerleader, you've got your goth girl, your nerdy kid. We've got like this little b-boy kid, Mario, and then we've got kind of like the town DJ / local celebrity. So We've got all those kinds of characters in the game. And if we hit some certain stretch goals, we've got 2 other pretty cool characters hiding in the wings. So.
Nice. So obviously, that was going to be a follow-up. You guys are obviously going to have stretch goals for this as well, which, obviously, you want to get enough to get the base game out there, like enough of the game that will be awesome. But then if you guys get the contributions, then you're going to sort of expand things out a little bit more.
Absolutely. We've got, so the first few stretch goals will unlock some additional elements for the game that I think people are really going to be pumped about. And then there's one stretch goal, I think it's like the 4th one, that no one knows anything about, and we don't tell you what it is on the stretch goal or Kickstarter page.
Yep.
But when we do unlock it, I have a feeling a lot of people are going to lose their shit. So, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's something we've been working on for a while the game's been getting bigger and bigger. So we're pretty excited to release it.
Yeah, I'm excited to check out the Kickstarter campaign and see what you guys are offering. And and the other thing too is I love the T-shirts you guys put out. And last year for the Black Mask, I got my awesome Reaper shirt that I rock now and then.
Yeah, that is a nice shirt. I still wear my original Mixtape Massacre shirt.
Yep.
More often than I probably ought to. I am legendary for like my gimmick is that I have so many T-shirts that I don't have to wash them all the time, so they don't get like messed up. But that's one of the few that get like put washed a little too much, so I can wear it a little too much. So I love it. I love the design of that character. I love the overall aesthetic of the game. I'm a fan.
Yeah, I'm showing.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. Right now, I'm showing a slideshow of some of the art that you'd sent to me, Fred, and so people can see some of the pieces of game pieces, and also the new T-shirt. I don't know if you guys can see it right there, MZ. See that? It's got the legend. I assume is that the legend that's on the T-shirt?
Yeah. So we got our buddy Jeff from Rockets Are Red. They're a company who actually does a lot of gig posters, like for pretty big bands. Actually, he's done some stuff for like Against Me and different bands like that. And so we had linked up with him and had asked, like, we've got this Kickstarter coming up. We want to do something kind of special for it, and we wanted to like give like a really, really awesome mood with the shirt of like, here's the town, here's the menacing killer, up in the front is like these silhouettes of like the kids, like ready to go to war kind of thing. And it's got that welcome to Tall Oak sign. So yeah, we definitely wanted to like, it's like you said, like I've always liked the shirts we put out as well. And I just wanted to like make sure that like we're upping our game every time, much like the game itself. I wanted to just make sure we're taking it to the next level.
Yeah, and from everything I've seen, you guys are certainly doing that. And so some of these images, I believe you said you guys were just releasing today, right?
Yeah, so I don't know if you put the layout. We had just released it early this morning. So yeah, we've got the player station in there, I think you were showing, which is like, in the old game, the killers like had knives, and you would put your health in there. Since we're dealing with like kids in this one, we decided to make the player stations rulers.
Yep.
And you'll notice on the rulers, actually, there's it's like 6 dots, and 4 of them are green and 2 of them are red. And the idea is that in this game, so in the old game, you would roll one standard dice to move.
Yeah.
In the new game, you roll 2, because we wanted to make it kind of like the movies where the killers move slow, but if they get to you, you're screwed.
Right.
Whereas in this, you have 2 dice, so you move fast, but you'll notice that there's those 2 red spots at the end of the ruler. And basically, if your health gets down to that zone, you lose the ability to use 2 dice and you start limping. And and you're only going to move with one. So it's we're just trying to take it up a notch and have some fun with the different elements in the game. You've got your supplies in the game. Cool thing about the supplies is that whereas in the old game there was like you'd be rolling to chance, you now have supplies that you can use to assist you in your roll. So like if I have a shotgun and it gives me a +2, and say the card I'm facing is a 3, I could use that shotgun and then roll the dice to get that extra point to take the guy out. But the other cool part about putting those in there is it starts to give the players a choice of whether or not to actually use those weapons at times, because there will be like slashers stalking you, and if their meter's pretty high and you use one of those things and make noise, you're going to call that slasher to you.
Yep.
So it kind of makes you second guess yourself as to whether you want to start using weapons at times and things like that.
That's super cool. Jeez. and it's almost like, I mean I hesitate to call it AI because it's an analog board game, but in a way you give sort of some sort of ability for the monsters to sort of hear you or interact with you, which I think is something that I haven't seen very often, if at all, in any board game. So I think that's a really cool addition.
Yeah, basically our thinking on it was kind of like there's always those scenes in the movie where the kid like squeaks or like moves their shoe and like it makes noise, and then all of a sudden you see the killer turn in the frame like real fast. Yeah. Like what the hell was that?
Yeah.
So it's kind of to that point that we wanted to kind of bring that element from movies in.
Yeah, it's a super cool idea. And how has that felt in playtest? Because I'm sure you guys have been playtesting the crap out of it.
So it's pretty hilarious, like to just because we've also had some demo nights with a lot of friends to like let them come in, give us their thoughts and opinions and stuff like that. And it's pretty funny to watch people like carefully making the decision as to whether or not they're going to use their weapons, and then how they react when someone unleashes someone or things of that nature. A couple people like throwing the table and stuff like that. So it's great. It's good that it gets like the right kind of reactions that we want from people, where I wouldn't say people are scared because the game is comical, but there's definitely that shock of like, sometimes you can draw a card that just immediately pulls them to you and things like that. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see that like the game is starting to, because you're playing as the survivors, you're more scared of drawing certain cards. Whereas when you were playing as the killers, you were just looking forward to like slashing someone in a bathtub or something like that.
Right.
Now, in your play testing, what do you find to be more enjoyable, to play as the killer or as the victim?
It's funny. We did have some people who, when they first sat down, were like, "Wait, we're not playing as the killers anymore," and they were kind of bummed at first. But as they started to play it, they were saying like, yeah, this game definitely has more layers to it than the original. And that was something we definitely wanted. And the cool thing is those layers actually move over to the old game when you combine them. So you kind of get to see those two kinds of worlds interact and how people interact with each other when you're playing it that way. So it's something we're really excited about. And we're really happy to see like so much reaction from people when they're playing.
Yeah. And obviously, this week or today rather, you had released some of the screenshots that you had sent along to us. And have you guys gotten some feedback from fans yet? Yeah,
people are pumped. Yeah. It's pretty awesome. We have like a mini little Facebook group for the event for the Kickstarter. So we have a lot of people. They'll come in there to ask questions or post comments about like some of the stuff we're posting while we're doing it. So it's really, really cool to see everyone getting really pumped about it and see that the response is really high to it.
Yeah. I mean, it must just be, I've done Kickstarter campaigns, and I know that leading up to it, it's sort of, pretty hectic. So, it's good to get that sort of steam underneath your wings, so to speak, to kind of lift you up to the start line.
I admire people who not only, because our good friends, Bill and Kyle, who made who you'd love this movie actually, the incredible cult cinema documentary Survival of Film Freaks, are funding their physical release right now. Uh-huh. And thinking about you guys starting this and the physical release of that, I would die. Like, if I had to do a Kickstarter, like, I wouldn't sleep. Like, I would mainline coffee the whole time. Like, I would just, like, I'd keep hitting refresh. Do you find, like, not the work you have to put in, because obviously you want to up your game more, But do you find the kind of social experiment element of it, I guess, like the kind of watching it, move along is easier, like 3 Deep now, or?
See, so I thought we all kind of had this thing where like, we've done 2, they've been successful. We can go in and do a third one, it'll be cool. And now it's like a week away, and I've still got a couple things to finish before we do it. And I'm just like feeling the stress of like, shit, I got to finish this tonight, like that kind of thing. So that's, especially since it's funny, our kicks, we like are so amazing at making schedules. Our Kickstarter goes live on Wednesday, and then Thursday morning, Mary Joy and I literally have to drive up to Jersey for Monster Mania. So it's just like, we plan this like so horribly, but so well. It's like hysterical. But yeah, I mean, I think I'll say the social side, we're definitely more used to what's probably going to happen while the Kickstarter is going on. Like, it's really funny. Like, when you do a Kickstarter, there's certain people who hit you up, asking you for a free game and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we're always like, it's funny. Like, you'll get like 60 emails the day of your Kickstarter going live. It's hysterical. And then you'll have people who will like pay $1 to come onto your Kickstarter to say something shitty and then go away because no one can get away from a comment section, apparently.
I didn't
so
even know
there's
that was
things.
a thing.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. Like, we don't even have $1 option on our thing this time because I was like, I just don't want to deal with those people.
Yeah.
But it's just it's funny to just see people come in real quick. They'll be like, I'm gonna put my pledge in, say some shit, and then I'm gonna bounce out. And it's like, okay. And it's hysterical. But like, yeah, we've gotten used to that side of it. But I will say, like, I don't think we ever go day one and we're like, yeah, we're going to do this. Like, we're always like, shit, I hope people like this thing. Like,
Yeah. And then obviously, once you get like 50% funded, it's like, all right, now we're getting there. We're getting a little closer. But yeah, I imagine there's always that sort of feeling of like, shit, like, are we maybe not going to do it this time? But, you guys have obviously had great success so far with your previous campaign. So I can't imagine that this is going to be any different.
Yeah, I mean, I hope.
Yeah. Well,
I'm never ultra confident about anything, so that helps. I weigh my disappointments really well.
Well, when you look at the time frame that you've reached these goals, I mean, it's mere hours, like literally.
Yeah, it's funny. The first Kickstarter, we didn't get greenlit until probably 7 days left in the campaign. And then when we went and did the second one for the expansion, the Black Mask, we got greenlit in like 48 hours. And I was like,
your brand.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. I was like, all right, so people are into this. So, I mean, I hope that enthusiasm. I mean, I will say, like, our fan base is really cool. Like, the people they're always posting about their game nights. They're always cracking jokes. We love to be like social with them. Like, if people are ever commenting on our Facebook and they get a gift back, it's probably from me because I'm always posting that shit. But it's funny to just see how much people want to interact and talk about horror, talk about like the references in the game and how they get them and like the jokes and stuff like that. Our playlist has a shit ton of followers and it's so hysterical, like, which is fun, which is cool because we know people follow the playlist to play with the game, which is what we always wanted. We wanted people to like have that ultra 80s vibe when they're playing the game. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so how long is the campaign? You guys doing a 30-day campaign?
Yeah, we're doing the regular 30-day campaign.
Yep.
The goal is going to be 25,000.
All right.
And from there, if we hit that, it's happening. And then from there, we've got a bunch of stretch goals in mind that we think people are going to be pretty psyched on.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to hear more about them. And I assume that the stretch goals are just going to sort of expand out the universe and the game a little bit more, right?
Yeah, we've got some cool characters in mind that we want to bring into the game. We've got some additional elements we want to bring into the game. We want to upgrade some of the pieces for the new game to make them ultra nice, as well as like just upgrade the box and make it like Like we last campaign we did this like spot printing on the expansion, which I loved because it we kind of made the box look like an old Columbia Pictures box, like an old VHS box.
Yeah.
Like with the red outlines and the white text and everything.
Yeah.
So we wanted to like have that red pop. So we did spot printing on it, and it made it feel like every time people grab that box, like, whoa, this is really nice. I'm like, yeah. So it's like things like that where you like not only make it's not only a cool game, but as horror fans and like collectors, it's cool to make stuff that actually looks cool too. Like it's something people want to have on their shelf or people want to show off and stuff like that. So it's always key for us, especially as designers. We want to make it. We want to make it not only a game, but we want to make it a collectible and something people are really proud and happy to have on their shelf.
Right. Well, of all the kind of, like fandoms I straddle, I would say that horror fans are probably the most avid physical media and just memorabilia in general collectors.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Easily. I mean, when we do conventions, people are walking out of their goddamn duffel bags. It's crazy. Like I think last time we were there, like Diabolic DVD and like
those guys are trouble for my bank account.
Yeah, dude, mine too. Them and Vinegar Syndrome, I think, were at the last Monster Mania, I'm pretty sure I left there with like 10 Blu-rays. It was like
it's crazy.
My wall looks stupid. Like people come to my house, they think it's Blockbuster.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
It's legit at the point where like Vinegar Syndrome starts bringing stuff over to our booth at conventions before they're even like they'll be like putting the limited edition slipcover on it as they walk over. Blood Harvest. And I'm like, all right.
Hand it over.
Yeah, I got their recent Mausoleum release.
Oh, yeah.
God, that thing is so good.
Next time I see him at a show, I'm just gonna run by and throw my wallet in there like a grenade.
There's probably nothing in it.
It'll take them a long time to figure it out.
Yeah. Store Raven Shadows.
Yeah.
No, that'll hurt one of those fellas. I like those guys.
And I think that's sort of one of the inherent things about being a horror fan is that there is a sort of this collectibles aspect to it of, there's a lot of horror fans that still collect VHS, and I don't know for certain, but I would imagine that the VHS like aftermarket is still going strong just because of horror. Like I have a bunch of shitty movies I can't get rid of. No one wants that shit. No one wants a romantic comedies on VHS. It's fucking horror, and
it's easily like it's hilarious.
Yeah.
We've done for the past, what has it been, 2 years? Yeah, the past 2 years we've done this. We sponsored this Slashback video event.
Oh yeah.
That Ryan from Blumhouse puts on, where it's all these amazing collected like horror old school VHS. Like, I mean, these are original prints and stuff like that, and they're just up for display. And like, you go in, and it's basically like an experience of being back in an old store. And it is so crazy to just see how into it so many people are when they go to the thing. It's hysterical. But it's also crazy to like watch guys like at like the convention selling those tapes and be like, yeah, you can get like 3 for $5. I'm like, Jesus Christ, so good. Like, I have beta tapes, which is
Damn.
Wow.
I have like old school beta tapes. Like I have like Flamingo Kid and like, which is fucking hilarious that I have that. But like, cause it's funny actually. My dad had a beta machine, and when we'd rent movies from Kroger's, because we lived in Cincinnati, it'd either be Beachmont Video or Kroger's is where we could rent videos, and he'd bring home like old school like horror films, and he'd put in the VHS, and then I'd see him plugging the cords in, and he'd be recording the shit on beta, and I'd be laughing so hard because he's like, oh, that's what the beta machine's for, is like copying these things. I'm like, all right, cool, Dad, you're gonna go to jail, man. But it was just so funny, like, because I just remember so much as a kid just having beta tapes everywhere, because like we'd watch so many movies so much, and he'd buy stuff in beta, and I'd be like, Dad, there's VHS, like, let's get VHS. So funny.
Wolfie, do you remember? I won't say which one it is, but there's a member of our band that like for like 3 years became like an obsessive VHS copying pirate. Do you remember this? Sounds like I.
Well, when
Yeah.
you said obsessive, I knew who
Yeah.
you meant. So
He like literally like at one point like somebody made a joke about like copying tapes, and then like a year later I was like, oh man, you know what I'd like to see? And he was like, what do you want to see? And I was like, I'd like to see Legend. I haven't seen it in a while.
yeah.
Well, come on downstairs. And in his old house in maybe Medford, because I'm not saying who it is, like there used to be like a extra room like that, like I had never gone in before.
Yeah.
So one time I went into this room, it was now wall to wall, white label, 2 films written in black Sharpie, alphabetical order. Like, so not only was he like stealing these things, he was procuring them in alphabetical order so that he could have like Alien and like Anthrax on the same like VHS tape. So, you know, like it was crazy. Sorry, it just made me think of that. He's like, of
Well,
course,
I did mention we're gonna have some derailment, so
right.
it's
Of course, the next time I went in, he had like all those airsoft guns, and I didn't know they're airsoft guns,
Oh yeah,
and I
yeah.
thought he was gonna take over Medford.
The taking of Medford.
Like I literally walked in, and there was like he had replaced the VHS shelves with like pegboard, and there was like 200 guns hanging on the wall. And I was like,
it's kind of ridiculous.
I was like, I don't want to know what's in there. The town he lives in now, you could take it easy. Just that one fucking bridge. Shrewsbury is his. Not that we've talked about it. But there's really just one main way in. Take that out. Shrewsbury's yours.
Jesus.
And for my next comedy show, I'll be appearing in federal prison.
So yeah, so this all sounds awesome, and hopefully there's some folks out there that I know we have some listeners that enjoy Mixtape Massacre and you know and subsequent expansion and everything. So you know, hopefully everyone checks out the Kickstarter when it drops next Wednesday, on Wednesday, March 6th. It'll be up for 30 days. So if you guys want to help support are you guys calling it a sequel? Is it safe to say?
Yeah, it's definitely a sequel. It takes place a few years later. We've made it so like Legend and Sarah and Smiley, they all look like they've been through the shit.
Yep.
Like Smiley definitely looks like he's seen Nam, so it's great.
Yeah, I was
But
just
yeah,
gonna say, in the picture you sent, you can tell that they've all sort of been weathered a little bit. They've seen their share.
Yeah, and I mean that's again something like you see in a lot of the horror films is like, you know, you had characters like Jason whose masks were broken, Michael's was like ripped and stuff. So it's just something we wanted to carry over and make sure like, you know, we're staying true to like the old 80s kind of style films. But it's also like we want to keep telling like we're not like story driven, but we want to keep telling like a small story of like every time you enter the game, like some big event has happened and what the hell is wrong with all the people in this town that no one has moved out? Because obviously this is the worst town, but like it's enjoyable. It's fun.
Yeah, it's good to just move the narrative along, even if it's just slightly. You know, like it gives people a sense of a world and sort of a greater story, which, you know, even in a board game, something that's so analog, I think it's very cool that you guys are doing that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So obviously we got this coming, you know, down the road in a week or so, and obviously I know you guys are always working on something. Do you have other stuff in the works? Not that, you know, obviously we're focused on Escape from Tall Oaks, but you guys have stuff in the works for down the road?
So we do. We have a couple other plans for Mixtape, but those are like back burner stuff right now because EFTO, or is what we're calling it, EFTO, Escape from Tall Oaks, is obviously like foreground. We also have a game that we actually developed last year, and it's actually ready to go. We just haven't pushed it yet because we just get so much demand for Mixtape that we're like, all right, let's put out one more thing so people are happy for a while, so we can put out this other thing. And then we've also been working on like 2 other things. So we've got about, besides our day jobs where we're just designing crap all the time for clients and doing marketing and web and all that stuff, we have probably 3 games kind of floating that we'll probably be putting out in the next couple years. that I think the fan base is really going to love. I can clearly say that they are all horror related, at least. Two of them are definitely like very, very deep in that genre, whereas the other one's kind of like adventure with a splash of like horror. So
Nice.
yeah, but it's cool. It's just Mary Jo. It's the three of us. It's Mary Joy, Matt, and I. So we're I don't have any hair left to lose. So
Are you taking it from them now?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
You have portraits of them in your attic where they're bald, and you have a long flowing mane now.
Well, Matt's a father of three, so he's bald too.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Mary Joy's like the one with like all the life force. Like we're slowly like trying to like suck the life force from her and try to stay alive. But yeah, I mean we're slowly getting ready to like do things with those three games, but. People love mixtape, so we want to, we're totally about keeping the fans happy. Like if we didn't love what we were doing with the game, we wouldn't still be doing it. We'd be doing something else. So
Yeah.
And the fact that we're getting positive response back continually from people just makes us want to do more with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously I know that, you guys have day jobs too, so to speak. And
Yeah.
So I don't know how you guys find time to do all this, but hopefully it one day becomes lucrative enough where obviously I know you guys probably enjoy your day jobs, but hopefully it becomes lucrative enough where this is sort of a thing that you're doing more of,
Well, yeah, and the beautiful thing is that like Matt and I, we own the studio, and
Yeah.
Mary Joy's our employee. So like we're working all day anyway, so it's not hard to be like, all right, let's take 30 minutes and work on this for mixtape, or
Right.
hey, today we're just dedicating to mixtape. We'll push all of our clients to the side and we'll talk to them tomorrow, kind of thing. So it is cool to do that. It does also like screw us over when we have like deadlines and we have to like really punch down. But yeah, it's fun, and I mean it's fun to have come up with this little passion project years back, and people really responded to it, and now it's like growing, and that's a good feeling. Like that's a win in my book. So like that's like a bucket list for me. Like created a game, people are happy with it. That's like I don't really care about like millions of dollars or anything like that.
Sure.
Like just seeing that people are happy with something you make is cool enough for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's super cool. And you guys are able to continue doing this, which, like you said, that's really what keeps you going, is as long as people are digging it and there's people out there to play it, you guys are going to keep making it. So it's really cool. So I want everyone to go check out the Kickstarter after March 6th. So I imagine folks can just look up Mixtape Massacre or Escape from Tall Oaks and find it on Kickstarter fairly easily once it's live.
Yep. As soon as it goes live, either Escape from Tall Oaks or Mixtape Massacre, you will probably see it.
Cool. So everyone out there, I know we've had some folks who have supported in the past, and definitely give it a look and consider supporting. And even if you guys will, even though you're not doing the $1 tier, are you guys doing a tier where if folks just want to support and don't have enough money to receive the game, is there a tier for that?
Yeah, I think there is like I think there's like a $5 tier or something like that for like buy-ins or something of that nature. I think.
Cool.
I'm not 100% positive, but I think there is.
Cool. So even if folks don't have the money to pre-order the game, so to speak, or get any of the other specials, there still should be a way for you to help support. So
just don't donate $5 and then tell me you're boning my mom and then take the $5 back. Like don't waste our time.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. I take $5 all day long to get insulted.
That's an idea for a fundraiser.
I think the good play is to pay the $5, say that I'm boning your mom, and then say she gave me the $5.
If they keep the $5 in the pot, then I'm cool with it.
Right.
These people got to up their game.
My mom would be cool with that. She'd be like, whatever, screw them.
So if you guys are gonna make fun and you're gonna shit post, at least
keep
pay
it in the pot.
keep it in the pot. Yeah, don't take it back.
Pabst is in the chat, my son.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that was like 20 minutes ago.
Sorry, I just it was weird because I was just talking about him like on today, so
You were just talking about him on today?
well today, and he was on my mind like, oh man, I was talking about Paps today. I looked up and there it was.
Oh, thinking about Pabst, huh?
Nah, that'd be weird. I'm thinking about how lucky I am that I didn't have to. All these little bastards found me when they were over 18.
All right, so everyone go check out the Kickstarter campaign. And now, actually, Fred's going to stick around for a little bit, and we're going to talk about a movie. We've been talking about doing this for a while with you, Fred, and it just hasn't worked out. So glad that we can keep you on board for a little bit, and we're going to talk about the film Assassination Nation. Now, Marsman, you were excited to you already sort of talked about this a little bit on the show, but what had you excited to actually do this as a film discussion?
Mostly to fight with Raven Shadow and Ares, but one of them didn't show up.
I'm always down to fight. What do you want to fight about?
So we'll see.
Yeah, and it's funny. I'm actually bummed out that Raven Shadow's not here. So for those who listening to the podcast and not watching the live feed, he is not here today. He is feeling better, but he had a lot of stuff going on, and it's snowing as well here, and he lives the furthest away from the studio. So Raven Shadow was regretful that he couldn't make it, but everything's good. He's feeling better. I assume he'll be here next week.
I just realized.
I know he's been gone for like 20 minutes. He's probably in the bathroom.
No, he grabbed his phone. So I'm assuming you got a call.
Oh no, that probably means he's in the bathroom.
Right.
Oh,
So we're down 2.
Ares, phones are the magazines of the 2Ks.
that's disgusting.
That's disgusting. You don't take your phone into the bathroom, Aries?
No. Why? You guys do?
I don't, because I have a lot of comics to catch up on. But like
Yeah.
you don't.
No.
I play games.
I read
What do you read?
books,
The
magazines.
newspaper, the funny books. All right, let's talk about a movie. So Raven Shadow is not here, and he actually had messaged me. Let me see if I can pull up his text, and he said about 50 minutes into this week's flick. Well, as usual, it's fragmented.
Yeah.
But then he says I'm not quite done yet, but could this be an important film? And I said, so then we talk about it, and he's not here to talk about how important it is. But anyways, Assassination Nation. So this hit theaters September 2018, and just recently hit VOD. And so the film originally got a release in 2018. It's rated R, and it is an hour 48 minutes. It's considered an action comedy crime movie, and it's written and directed by Sam Levinson, and it stars Odessa Young, Abra, Suki Waterhouse, Harry Neff, Coleman Domingo, Danny Ramirez, Joel McHale, Maud Apatow, and Bill Skarsgård.
Any relation? The Apatow? I wonder.
I don't know. And the synopsis: after a malicious data hack exposes the
Wait. Yeah. Maud's that's Judd's daughter.
Oh, is it really?
Weird,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, who I think has been in like some of his movies as his daughter.
Yeah, usually as like young daughter. I guess she's
Yeah,
getting old now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Maud's like the oldest one, and then and then she has the little sister or whatever.
Yeah, I don't like that name, Maud.
Who is she? Oh, okay. I think I know who she was in the. Yeah. Okay, she was the one in cuffs. Okay. So that is Judd Apatow's daughter. So we've solved that issue. And the synopsis: after a malicious data hack exposes the secrets of the perpetually American town of Salem, chaos descends and 4 girls must fight to survive while coping with the hack themselves. So
funny thing, real quick,
Fred,
about that. So the movie was about Salem and their data breach and a hack happening there, and not 4 months later, that actually happened in Salem.
Oh, really? I didn't actually know that.
There was a data breach, and a bunch of people's information was exposed in Salem. So pretty hilarious.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. So for the director, this is director Sam Levinson's second feature. His first was a film called Another Happy Day, which I'm not familiar with, but had a pretty outstanding cast. Starred Ezra Miller, Ellen Barkin, Ellen Burstyn, and Demi Moore. I think it was 2011 or 2013, I believe. Has anyone seen that by any chance? Another Happy Day?
Uh-uh.
Oh, all right. Yeah, 2011. He wrote and directed that as well. So that's a pretty long time between flicks. 7 years. I guess in Hollywood though, maybe it's not that long. But this movie, I don't know if I'd call it controversial, but I have heard some controversial things about it, and I know that it seems to be a very sort of divisive film where I'm hearing people that are like loving it and people that are hating it, and I'm not hearing too much in the middle. Not to say that there isn't, but especially if you look at the aggregate review on, at least on IMDb, it's a 5.9 out of 10. So
stupid. I think a big problem with it is that, and I don't know if you guys will agree or not, I feel like this film manages to like kind of walk a very dangerous tightrope, but it's also like just ham-handed enough to like still feel like exploitation and still feel a little offensive, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I think this movie hits on a lot of hot topics, but like pushes them to the extreme.
Right.
And I mean, there was 2 people who walked out of the movie when I saw it in theaters. I think they got up immediately after. There's a sex scene between a transgender character and a guy.
Yep.
And then the couple were just like, "What are we watching?" and like left. And I was like, "Really? Like this is the part that you're gonna walk out on?"
Yeah.
But it's just like, I mean, I think with like social media and everything, this movie was. I loved it. I don't know what your guys' opinion is on it, but this movie I loved. Like I remember walking out and I was like, I want to see that again. Like it's so crazy the stuff that happens in this movie. Like, but it's also believable. Like it's what you said. Like it's extreme, but I believe it at the same time.
Right.
Like
it does a weird thing. Like I feel like it does, like you said, like it handles, like it takes these things and it manages to mock certain elements cinematically, but it also does this thing where I feel like when it throws its shit, it doesn't like do the movie thing to like take a side, because I feel because I feel like our protagonists are pretty like in certain ways unlikable, right? I'm not talking about like the broad like strokes that were almost put in here, I think, to a degree to like make the literary like to make this a very thinly veiled classic literary modern retelling, I guess, for lack of a better. There has to be a fucking better way than I said it. But like, you know, so I'm not talking about the affair stuff, but I think in just their over general
well, I think I think they're rotten teenagers.
Right.
But I mean, but like, what teenager isn't to an extent rotten at times? Like, they think the trivial things in their lives are super important. They think that like every time something's happening, their life is falling apart. Like that's so teenager. So it's like it's hard to like those kids. Like if I'm a teenager, I'm probably like, oh man, this is so dramatic. But like as an adult who like looks back on being a teen, is like, this is some trivial bullshit. Why are you getting so worked up about this? But at the same time, like, it's like you said, certain things go off the deep end with these characters, and things like the affair and some of the social media stuff, and it gets all of a sudden their trivial shit turns into real harmful shit.
Yeah.
Like which is what I thought was really cool about it.
Yeah, for sure. There was definitely a lot of really sensitive sort of issues and stuff that could affect all of us. I mean, you know, like it's something, you know, we've often talked about the definition of horror, and this to me is like the ultimate horror movie, because like it is like you know, such an invasion of your privacy, you know, and sort of these sort of false, you know, maybe I guess in a way false sort of sense of security, because everyone thinks that their shit's tied down until it's not, you know, and you know, you never know who. A lot of people think, oh, well, that's not going to happen to me, or whatever. So it's just one of those sort of things that could happen to anybody, really, and that shit's scary. Whether you have something to hide or not, your shit getting out there is just scary, knowing that it's available for anyone.
Well, and it's also that whole like the level between parents and kids, and how the parents have vile shit too going on.
Yeah.
Whether it's how they're treating their children, or whether it's things they're doing that their children don't know. And here they are, they're judging and making sure that their children aren't becoming certain kinds of people. Meanwhile, they are the very evil they're trying to stop their children from becoming. Like, it's cool
Yeah.
because it's cool. I agree with you in that I do feel like this movie is like an ultimate horror film. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, no, that's not horror. Like, people argue that Hereditary wasn't horror, which always makes me laugh and stuff like that. But
What?
I always say that the scariest fucking monsters are human beings, and like this movie is the epitome of scary fucking people. And the worst person, which I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but the worst person is the person no one fucking suspects.
Right.
And
right.
it's like the most vile human being you could ever fucking imagine is the most unsuspected one, and it's because they're kind of hiding in the shadows. Like
Right.
it's movies. I'm telling you, like I own it. I've watched it so many times. I love this movie.
It's funny.
Talking about it gets so much reaction out of me, like some of the stuff that happens in that movie.
Yeah,
It's
for
so
sure.
good.
Yeah.
I think that what is there's a lot of really nuanced things in this that I like a lot, and one of them is the lead's performance, because there's like there's an interesting kind of understated thing in the fact that it great.
Keep going, Mars.
They're
They're whispering sweet nothings.
the fact that it's a nothing whispering to Aries, that she manages to be the king of her posse, but also like kind of disconnected from them, right? Like she's kind of. It seems like there's a longing there for her to kind of have what.
Well, yeah, it's
like have
sort of fitting in, but she, in a way, sort of like needs that because, I mean, she's super smart, right?
Right.
Like, that's one thing her parents point out, and we don't get the sense that that her friends
No.
are. Whether we don't get that or not, I don't know. But
And for me, I also got the element that she kind of wanted to, like be in that other woman's position. You know what I mean?
Well,
like there was a degree
yeah,
of longing there that she like felt like disconnected from her, like she couldn't really talk to her friends. Especially like her male friends.
I feel like she's the adult. Like
Right.
in a weird sense, like she's the one that's kind of grown up already, and she's still doing childish things with her friends, but at the same time, she's not telling her friends all the shit that's going on with what's going on with her situation, and she's kind of she's keeping that a secret because that's kind of her like, okay, I'm like, it could be she's gonna run away, or it could be this life that she's gonna try to have, and it's weird because I feel like at the end is when we the whole movie you're judging all these kids and you're like, these kids are trivial, these kids are like rotten little teenagers, they're I feel bad for them, but at the same time they're shitty. But then at the end I feel like they kind of grow up due to the circumstance. Like actually, I feel like there's almost a scene where that when they're getting into like the outfits, that I feel like that's almost like a symbol for like them like becoming serious and growing up and like taking on like adult matters and things like that. Like that whole ending is fucking insane. Like everything that comes down. But like I feel like it's like you said, the kids do seem stupid, but then all of a sudden the kids seem pretty smart and well together and ready to like take on kind of like the town kind of thing when the ending comes.
Right. I mean, they is cinematically and as plagiarously cinematically as this is handled in some cases, the fact that they like, like even if this was handled a little more dramatically, say they, somebody gets their mother killed and someone gets killed and somebody almost gets lynched. You know what I mean? Like those are things that like will accelerate your aging process right there. Like that, like are almost like instant callus makers.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I love that they didn't kind of jerk the wheel in that direction, and they still had the like ultra, almost Tarantino scene where they were putting on the coats and stuff, and they were walking down the street with the like assault rifles. Like they still like embraced the other side of what this movie was.
Well, and I think that's the really cool part about the movie is that every time the movie gets extremely dramatic and extremely serious, there's something again to remind you that, hey, this is a movie and shit's going to get a little fun and weird for a second. And then we're going to go back to the drama. But it's like those constant little like cues and wake up calls of like, this is a movie, even though it feels super real and feels super uncomfortable at times.
Yeah, this was just batshit insane. I mean, it's like it got to the point in this movie where I started to think back to a film like Natural Born Killers, where the shit was just starting to get out of control that at some point there has to be some sort of calmness to balance it out. And you really don't get that here. I mean, you get light shades of dark comedy, but nothing that sets your mind at ease or gives you any kind of peace of mind.
Yeah, it doesn't really decompress at all.
No, not at all.
And I think Natural Born Killers is actually a good example or a good comparison, because that movie, like Oliver Stone would use like color to change the scenes and to change the settings and to give it like that ultra like realistic like feel to it, and then you'd be taken out of it by the colors. All of a sudden the scene would change and you'd be seeing people in yellow and red. And they do that at parts in this movie where there's those hues of pink, those hues of red that come into the scenes to kind of like it's to your point, like it's not as abrupt that it takes you out of how like depressing and dramatic this gets. But there are those little hints here and there, or when they're throwing on the costumes and stuff like that.
Right. I mean, there's a total sub-character that's in this movie like 3, maybe 4 times, has less than 5 minutes screen time, that has a fucking arc in this movie. Like, that's fucking
huge.
Yeah, that's
huge.
fucking something for a movie that's going 90 the entire fucking time, right? You know what I mean? Like, and even though maybe the acting or the fact that it is going 90 makes the last couple minutes, like the after effect, the prologue of that arc, if you will, a little trite, like seems a little after school specially, like that. That's still fascinating to me.
Well, there's also those little moments that take you out of it, like when the movie ends, it ends with this like abrupt music. And it's because it ends on like a ridiculous like moment,
right?
Which I enjoyed. But then there's also those parts in the movie where the music is kind of the thing that takes you out of it for a minute, and they're like, it's either those drumline songs or like these marching down the streets kind of songs and things like that I thought were really, really cool. Yeah. But it is to your point, like everything is moving fast, everything is getting super dramatic, much quicker and much quicker and much quicker as the movie goes on, and I think that's, if anything, that's the strongest part about this movie, is that because it's moving so fast, you are not picking up on certain things that are happening. No. And literally, I've gone back and watched it, and it's almost like watching Fight Club again after you've already seen it. Like you're all of a sudden like, what the fuck? That was there the whole time. Like, oh my God, like that. It's fucking there, but we're just not paying attention because they're doing such a good job of pulling us in one direction. So, right. I mean, props to the director.
Yeah, I would like to, there's something I want to talk about, but I'd like to hear what Aries has to say first, because I have the feeling that once we let this boat out of the harbor that I want to talk about, I don't think there's any reeling it back. So.
Maybe he doesn't say about what.
I want to know what you think about the film.
I was enjoying it. I mean, I haven't interrupted anyone because I'm not going to interrupt to go. Yes, I agree with that.
No.
I mean, there's a lot going on in this movie, and yes, I would. I'm not going to say disagree, but different interpretations of what was being said, but. Not enough for me to interrupt anyone. That's why I've been quiet. What do you want me to say?
Nothing. I just was curious. I waited all week to fight with somebody about this movie.
I'm sorry. This movie sucked.
And one of them took a dump, and the other one is just sitting quiet at the end of the table. So.
I'm sorry. Have we met?
I know. Sorry. You still on the way to forget it.
What?
Nothing. You make fun of me all the time. And you come here, everybody thinks you're all nice. I hate it. It's me. It's like
you think I'm nice?
I don't think.
Once
nice.
again,
I know.
Have we met?
I know you're not nice.
Remember how I made fun of you for you thinking I could be your voice in a club scene?
Well, you could have been, but
no,
I have a different one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna call him. He's gonna fight you too. It doesn't matter. He's gonna punch everyone.
I want to dig in a little bit to, obviously we've been talking about impressions of the movie, and we certainly don't have to stop with that. But one thing I thought was really interesting, and I obviously I don't think I've ever seen this, is the film basically laid its cards out on the table in the first 2 minutes with the trigger warnings, which I thought was like super interesting. I've never seen a movie like that.
Oh yeah.
And it really did deliver on all of them too. Like, and that is sort of a very, modern sort of thing is, and I'm certainly not disputing it, because people do have trigger warnings, and we've even started to talk about them a little bit in Polar, which we recently discussed. Obviously there's a dog that dies in it. That's something that really can affect people, and I think that people should sort of know about that. So I thought that was really interesting that they had that really quick sort of like rundown of all the trigger warnings in the movie, which there are a lot.
I almost stopped doing the show because of the great animal gets killed in every
every
film we
movie,
watched in 2016.
And I will say that I think the first 15 to 20 minutes of this movie are almost a sensory overload. They were doing the split screens.
Right.
They were really focusing in, and I think they did a really fantastic job of sort of highlighting that this is a modern era. Like, this is the modern era of what we live with, of social media and everything changing so fast, and everything is happening so quickly.
Right. And I also think that there was an air there, or at least how this worked for me, of them kind of establishing this world via media, in the sense where, when I accidentally am flipping through channels and stop on like an MTV show, and within 2 minutes they're just fucking irritated by the amount of gimmicky split screening reality.
Right.
I feel like it managed to kind of be like, well, this is not. It made you. It was the same as if they showed strange pterodactyl monsters flying by. They established that this is not your world. This is their world. This is this isn't the 14-year-olds' worlds. This isn't the 21-year-olds' worlds. This is these strange people who are in a weird world, because they're not kids anymore, but they're not adults.
Right. Go ahead, Fred.
It's weird because the thing I really thought about the movie, you're saying it's like a strange world, and it's funny because when I saw the movie, I saw it in September, then literally in October I had gone up to Salem for Salem Horror Fest, and was in the town where this movie was supposed to take place, and it's I didn't see any of that stuff that you would see in that movie. It was kind of funny. I was trying to pay attention to certain streets and stuff where I knew they had shot a couple scenes, and you don't see any of that stuff, but it's like I said, then 4 months later, literally that data breach thing happened. But what I did think did a good job of, as much as it feels like it's not a real world at times, I do feel like there's so many scenes in that movie where I swore I had just a week ago seen a news report about something that happened in that movie. And I felt like that happened so many times while I was watching the movie, where it was like deja vu, deja vu, deja vu, deja vu, which I thought, though this movie is extreme and it seems unrealistic at times, it was also at the same time unnervingly real. Especially that scene where they're following the girl, they're in the car, and recording it on their cell phone. That was literally something that had just been in the news.
Yeah, there was a lot of that, and even in this day and age with the person who is currently president, this is a kind of a daily occurrence. A lot of this stuff is, and it's really changing the conversation about these sort of things, because we got to a point where I think it was okay to start discussing some of the stuff, and then we have someone who comes in and now has these fucking crazy things happen on a near daily basis that just brushes them off, and it doesn't even matter. It's just fucking crazy to me that that we got to a point, and then now we're so desensitized now by a lot of this, and if any other president had even one of these things happen, they would have been impeached. But with the volume of things that we have happening, it's just too much. You can't keep up with it, and
it's too much that it's acceptable.
Right, and it is becoming the norm, and and I'm not just like poking fingers at one person. It's just something that is happening with this country, and I think that I think especially with the way things go, sort of in the final act of this film, with some of the gunplay and stuff like that. I think that was very deliberate as well, based on sort of what is happening in this country. Like seems like every fucking day we get another, mass shooting or something. And it's just a part of our fabric of reality now, unfortunately.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's literally stuff in this movie that I feel was, before it went to production, was rewritten because it obviously had been affected by the past election. There's no way you can't, like, there's literally a moment in the movie where they think Russians are hacking all the, like, there's crazy stuff going on in this movie that I was just like, that's why I was saying, like, there's parts in the movie where I'm just like, this is so deja vu. Like, I feel weird right now watching this, like, but it was good. It was good.
I mean, maybe this it doesn't even matter that much, but was this our Salem? Was this Salem, Mass?
I think it was just supposed to be a generic.
Yeah, I just kind of took it as a heavy-handed reference.
Yeah, I looked it up and I saw it says it was filmed in the United States, but that didn't help at all.
It was supposed to be our Salem.
No, I don't think it was.
I mean,
yes,
I took it more
because this
middle
was
America.
The Scarlet Letter.
I understand it's a retelling of the Salem witch trials. It's a modern day retelling of it, but they didn't specify that it was Salem, Massachusetts.
Well, no, they didn't
Salem.
say so, but
it's a generic Salem.
But I mean,
it's because there's definitely parts of that are filmed clearly in L.A. Like the way those homes are all laid out as rows like that.
Yeah, I didn't see any actual Salem in there at all, or anything close to reference.
But you guys are aware that this was the Scarlet Letter, right?
More so the Salem witch trials.
Yeah, I think
lesser so the Scarlet Letter.
I definitely think. Yeah, I think it was a cross between the Crucible and the Scarlet Letter.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, there's elements of both, like the stuff with the mother and father and how they react to the daughter and things like that. It's kind of like the elders of the village and how they would react and the things that they do to her, and it's like a banishment, and then the whole town kind of comes down on her. That's definitely very much Scarlet Letter.
Right, and it's it reminded me of someone who had like kind of read, like, obviously things will veer when you make it modern, but it reminded me of somebody who read the Scarlet Letter in 8th grade, like where I had read it the first time, but then hadn't even thought of it since like they made this thing. So like it's almost like how they remembered how it went. And they combined a whole lot of different things, but like
it was someone who read the Cliff Notes.
Yeah, like I think that it was like, I mean, definitely like the witch trials like are there and the Crucible and all that stuff is there, but this whole thing hangs on an adultery, right? Like that like basically in a town's justification of how they're going to handle it, like the town basically becomes monsters. The only reason that it doesn't work as spot on is that they don't like necessarily like in like some of that other literature, they don't actually like it's more on point when they're accusing somebody of being a monster and then they become monsters, as opposed to if they're just like kind of accusing somebody of being a harlot, if you will.
Well, and I thought it was funny because it's funny, like the person actually making all the accusations is never seen, is the best part. It's like the kind of the I can't remember her name. Was it Elizabeth or something from the Crucible? The one who's actually like leading the girls to make all the accusations. That's kind of the hidden person during most of the movie that's making the accusations, that's leaking the information and turning the whole town against them, which I thought was the kind of cool twist, is that instead of people being right out front and being the voices of like God pointing out who's the witches and who's all that, instead it's this like mysterious force kind of thing. Almost like a god, like that's like the internet's the god kind of thing. I thought that was a really cool twist.
Yeah, it's a really dense film. Like, I'm amazed they were able to pack in so much and have it sort of relate to things that are familiar, but to also pack in so much social commentary.
For sure, this is like the social commentary version of like a pro wrestling gorilla match, right? Like, it doesn't fucking stop. Like, it literally, like, the bell rings and they fucking do everything. They do all sorts of crazy shit, and then it stops. And you're supposed to, like, stand up and be like, oh, well, I can watch another movie that day, I guess. Like, I remember, like, leaving, like, so at this time, I was going to see, I had, like, a pile of gift certificates I had never used because I didn't know how awesome AMC was. So people give me AMC gift certificates. I'd be like, whatever, I'm going to go to my shitty murder theater that I keep going to. Didn't know I could eat fucking macaroni and cheese in a recliner chair and have Dr. Pip. But, like, so, like, I was, like, going to see, like, 2 or 3 movies at a fucking time sometimes in a day because I had all these gift certificates, and I was basically, fundamentally, it was the only way I could eat is I was so poor. I was going to the movie theater anyway. But I hadn't bought a ticket, luckily, but I can't remember what else I was going to go see the day I saw Assassination Nation, but I was like, nope, that's the end of the movie day. Like, anything else I see, I'm just going to be fucking thinking of, like, what did I just fucking see? Like, I didn't even know when I left the theater if I liked it because I was like, what did they, like, am I offended? Like, was this movie, like sleazy exploitation, or was it, like, making a statement, or, like, am I putting a statement there? Like, it just didn't fucking breathe long enough.
It was sort of all the above.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And it took me another viewing to fucking get there.
I think that's because of the note it ends on. Like, for the kind of movie it is, for the way for it to go, that final minute of the movie is almost like a big smack in the fucking face. Like, it's because it's a totally different tone. And again, I don't want to spoil it, but it's a pretty awesome ending, but also like it's also like a big middle finger, for everything that happened leading up to it.
I'm so glad you said that because I felt the same exact way. I'm saying to myself, Jesus Christ, this is the ending that I expected, but I'm not sure if this is the ending that I wanted.
Well,
because it gives you everything. I'm satisfied with the simplicity
saying
of the
that
ending.
it alludes to other stuff, though, MZ. Like,
no, I understand, but I like the simplicity, but at the same time, I was rather disappointed in it, But I figured at that point, if you watched, an hour and 40 plus of the film, you're gonna buy into the final minute or two, So I
not necessarily though. That is like literally, and we've talked about it on this podcast. That is literally crippled the film for me. Like if a movie doesn't.
Well, for you.
Well, I generally when I fucking say shit, I'm saying shit about me. Like if I was gonna say shit that you thought, it would just be like.
Yeah. I don't know if this is you figured this out yet, but we're giving our own opinions when we talk.
Yeah. All right. Here's Monsters here.
Oh, really? Because usually Mars likes to hand over his opinion to you, and you're supposed to follow it.
Yeah. If you were paying attention, you realize that doesn't always work out for him.
Yeah. And then Monster Zero thinks. But
I will say I did really I thought I was shocked at first when the ending happened, but I did end up really liking it because I feel like everything that happens before that ending makes it that much more like a bad taste in my mouth of like that specific person. Like I'm just like, holy fucking shit, you evil piece of crap. Like it's really, yeah, I don't know. I felt like I do feel like it's a big fuck you to the crowd when they're watching it, but it's also like a proper fuck you. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was super effective because leading up to that, I won't say too much about it, but because it's not really spoiler, but I think this is an experience that if people haven't seen that they should experience. But similar to Revenge when we discussed that film, that there were certain things that needed to happen in the film to establish sort of this baseline of like, of like toxic masculinity and the leering eye and, things like that. And I think that this film also sort of, in a way, required demonstrating that stuff happening.
Right, I agree.
Before, so you get a payoff, sort of toward the end, I guess.
For sure.
And, it is at times kind of hard to watch where it's like, because this film didn't really pull any punches when it came to that sort of thing, and hence the trigger warnings. I think it was interesting because it didn't really pull any punches when it came to like the way that the characters talked or acted or whatever. And the other interesting thing is we get these different reactions to the characters who have the leaks. Like we have the mayor, who his reaction. I mean, this happens early enough in the film. I feel secure in talking about it, but he gets up in front of the press, takes a fucking gun out, and kills himself right in front of everyone.
Yeah, that's actually in the trailer, so you're not ruining anything.
Yeah,
and
that's and that is one person's reaction. Then we get the principal's reaction of what happens when his shit gets out there. And I think it's interesting how the other thing I really liked about it, I forget the quote, but she said that there was like 10% of people are they're always going to do the right thing. 10% of people are going to do the wrong thing. And then there's this 80% of people who are unpredictable. And I thought that was kind of a nice little thesis for what happens in this film, because there are that group of people that are unpredictable. And even people, in the main character, Lily, in her sort of life, there are reactions that are unpredictable. Like her parents, I didn't see that happening the way that they reacted. And I didn't see what happened with Joel McHale's character, Nick Mathers, that, I guess in a way, I mean, the arc made sense, but you thought that it was going to go maybe in a different direction. And,
for sure. Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool that it had sort of established this sort of baseline of how people would act. And then having the 80% of people who are just completely wild card was really interesting. And then, it jumps forward 1 week later, right? And all hell's fucking breaking loose.
Well, you brought up the principal, and the principal is that's the one scene, like I was sitting there and I was just saying to myself, I was like, what is wrong with this? But it was like, there's so many people in the town who almost wanted to be outraged by it. But I was just like, I can't say what's going on in the thing, but that I thought that was really effective, because it got me kind of frustrated, because I was just like, this is what did this dude do, and why is everyone like out to destroy this guy all of a sudden? Like, it was crazy.
Well, that was the perfect example of the mob mentality.
Yeah,
where it's just like one person just thought, okay, it was a little bit bad, and then this guy thought it was a little bit worse, so it just escalated to this mob wanting to tear him apart when he was just trying to explain what was on his phone.
What they kept screaming, like quit or resign or something like that.
Resign, yes.
Resign. Yeah. And it was so good, because the way they were doing it, it was literally the witch trials, like right there, like they're all screaming together and chanting together for like.
Yep.
It was awesome. It was awesome. Like,
and I think that this film shows that maybe not everyone, but most people have this sort of perfect veneer that they try to maintain on social media. And I think it comes from societal pressure, a lot of it, but like everyone like has this sort of like wants to have this perfect presentation of what they're like on social media, like the very best. And then I think that's also magnified for women, because men have certain preconceived notions and expectations of what a woman, should do, or what makes them pretty or whatever. Like I've seen these fucking like, men's rights activists with their manifestos of how women should dress and what they should do to be pretty. And it's fucking disgusting, and so I think that they did a really good job of showing that in this. And everyone sort of has, you try to present yourself in the best light, but we all have things that we don't like about ourselves, or don't like that we've done, or we have secrets, like a lot of the people in the movie, and that we wouldn't want other people to know about, or whatever. And I think Lily does a really good job of explaining that also early on. Once again, I forget the dialogue, but sort of like we tell these lies to make, because to save other people, or to keep our loved ones safe, or whatever. And then it just becomes this sort of vicious cycle where we just keep telling these lies. And
you tell one lie, it leads to another. You tell two lies.
In this day and age, I think that it's a very sort of important thing to discuss. And with all this fucking fake news, and like I don't know. It's just and it is that mob mentality, and it usually floats on party lines. If someone is a Democrat and they do something wrong, all Republicans are going to be against them, and vice versa. And it's just like this mob mentality of just, you know, like if someone is different from you, whether it's political, whether it's, you know, gender, whether it's race, whatever. Like we're so quick to jump on people doing the wrong thing when we don't look at our own lives and our own mistakes to say like, hey, like we're all fucking human here, you know?
For sure. And that's the other cool part about the movie is with the whole social media thing is that I think so many people almost, you were saying like people lie and then they just continue to lie because it's social media, but it's like it almost becomes for some people the reality and they lose themselves in the lie. Like that's the other crazy part about it.
Yeah.
Is like there's total character. Yeah, like I mean, there's total characters where you think they're one person, but they are completely the other person that they're pretending to be. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and that sort of you know goes along this like thin line between victim and offender. You know, like where someone could be you know perceived as being a victim, where other people might say, "Oh, well, that's the person who's in the wrong," you know, and it just depends on your perspective and your point of view. And, you know, absolutely. So I totally agree with you there. And one of the other thing, I think it was, I wrote this quote down. I think it was the dad. I think it was Lily's dad. He basically was just sort of like writing off he said, men will be men, girls will be girls. And until then I'll protect you. And he was basically saying, you know, oh, well, we can't get better. Like, this is just how people are. Like, we can't try to make things better or make others better or lift them up. It's just the way things are. And that, you know, and that should have been sort of some foreshadowing to his reaction of what he did when the leak affected Lily, you know? And I don't know, I just thought that was just sort of indicative of sort of the old school, so to speak, the parents of the older people in this.
I think they kind of showed early on the example of how saying the right keywords at the right points will just alter the perspective of what is being shown.
Yep.
Because Lily, with justifying her art, which 100% is inappropriate for high school.
Oh, with the principal? Yeah.
With the principal.
Yep.
But she says the right key words to him, which he cannot, he can't retort to it. So it just kind of goes away. But then you see it right back at him with the at his phone. They're saying all those keywords, all different keywords, but the right keywords to him to incite that crowd. Where it's just simple keywords will alter the perspective of what the view of the person is.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it is just that perspective, and you know, once again, I think I won't say too much about this because it borders on spoiler, but people are so desperate for answers or skirting accountability that they'll believe anything that fits their agenda. So when the person who is revealed, obviously incorrectly, of who the hack who did the hack, like everyone just is like, yep, that's it. You know, like they didn't even question it. It's not even like, did you do this? Could you have done this? It was just fucking burn the person, you know, like it was just that whole, you know, placing blame because it fit their agenda.
And as the movie continues, I sensed a bit of how this movie also becomes more of a case of the fragility of the male ego.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter how big, badass you fucking think you are, whatever fucking sport you play, you know, how fast you are, how strong you are, how big you are, no matter what it is, shit that you get that gets hacked out of your computer, your phone, or whatever, and it gets out there, that ego takes a fucking nosedive, and they gotta take revenge on that.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily a male thing. I know.
Well, it seemed like
I know plenty of people who, you know, no matter what they have between their legs, that probably have some things on their phone. They don't.
Well, yeah, true. But what I mean is that early on it was like the older male characters were getting ousted. Then, as the movie continued, it was turned that the younger female and the males as well.
There's a
but
weird...
it looked like the males were starting to the male characters, as the movie was starting to reach its ridiculous climax, that it just seemed like they were just taking over the entire situation.
Well, there was a statement there about the mob element of like even like the bad part of the stuff that the Weinstein incident, if you will, I guess, and all that sort of thing. But like there was the fear of like some people I think took this as the fear of like someone who didn't really do anything wrong getting swept up in this whole hysteria. And that's not that's not unnecessarily impossible, and I suspect probably did happen in some cases. But really, what they were trying to show is that people were going to be the first to throw a body on the fire if it wasn't theirs. You know what I mean? So when that principal got caught, he didn't really do anything wrong. You know, he didn't do anything really even salacious, but the fact that he, the real thing is that once the hacks got bigger, like a whole percentage of that audience that were like, crucifying him were worse.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just a matter of like, it's how they like, in one breath you think they're making a statement on the Weinstein era thing being a witch hunt. Maybe they were for a minute. But the reality of this movie is that it doesn't shine a good light on anyone. And I think that that's kind of important, in these situations.
Yeah, nobody looks good in this movie at all.
I want to start to wind things down here a little bit because we're getting close to, I think we're getting close to the end here. But one of the things, we haven't really talked much about the technical aspects of this film. And one of my favorite shots, I mean, there was a lot of really cool, really great shots in this, but I think one of the great ones was, I think it was, what was her name? Let me get her name first. M. It was M, her house with her mom that she lived with.
Yep.
And they were showing this perspective from outside the window.
Yes.
While, like, the house was sort of being invaded. And I just, I thought that was fucking brilliant point of view.
That was taken right out of Tenebrae, brother.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought of. Just kind of moving up,
beautiful,
up and down. It didn't do the establishing shot like Tenebrae does, but it definitely did that sort of moving from room to room, from floor to floor.
I think Dario would be proud of that.
I think so too. Yeah, I think that was such a strong shot, and overall,
hey, it's me, Emo Argento. I was really proud of that.
There were a couple times in this movie where they used almost like a stage play lighting.
Yeah.
Where they brought the light up. It was completely unnecessary, but really good how they did it. They brought the light up as the shot was taken into center, where a stage play you would need to. This is where you're supposed to look, but in a movie you don't need to do that. But it was just done so well, and not overused. It was only like 2 or 3 times that was done in this movie, but done very well.
Yeah, and that's the thing is this movie is it. I mean, I guess it's like most stories, 3 acts, but even the way that it was filmed, like that first act or maybe the first 15-20 minutes was very chaotic, and the way that it was shown with the split screen and everything, and then it sort of settles down into more of an actual film. The normal style of a film, with the point of view and everything, and not seeing all these different split screens, and then we get towards the end, and things start to go really fucking haywire, and we get some really smart filmmaking decisions in terms of how the camera was used and everything. So, yeah, I think this is a really, even technically, because we've been talking a lot creatively, I think technically it's a very well shot film. It looks great as well.
Yeah, it just makes me excited to see what his next film's going to be.
Yeah, especially if it's like, if he can be this edgy, and this does like border on like 80s teen drama and like exploitation and even to a lesser degree, maybe Grindhouse. It definitely pays homage to a lot of genres and
absolutely
still manages to look very like new and fresh and modern. So I think it was really, really cool how it was all put together.
Yeah, it's never confusing. The storytelling is very straightforward. I think the acting is pretty good. The technical aspects, like we talked about, are really, really choice. I really dug the camera outside the house tracking shot. That was just fucking faboo. And also calls to a reference to the Pinky Violence films, which I always enjoy too. So
yeah, you're a big fan of those.
Yeah, so there's that.
It's also a great prequel to It, because you slowly get to see Bill Skarsgård turn into a sewer dweller. It's great. It's freaking amazing.
I kind of want to read Lily's sort of like soliloquy at the end, but I do think it's probably a little bit spoilery. But that it was like a really great wrestling promo. Did you happen to Mars? Did you sort of happen to think that?
I agree. Actually, that's well said. Like, because it got me really pumped up. Like,
yeah.
It's funny. Like, I think the best thing about wrestling promos, and it's something that I learned from the late great Dusty Rhodes, is that it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And like, I again left this movie thinking like, was that a fucking load of horseshit that she just said, and was it just so fucking delivered well and edited well that I was like fist bumping? Or like, it wasn't until I saw it the second time, and I remember I physically like kind of steeled myself, like I remember like tensing up in my chair, or like if like leaning forward a little bit, sitting in the like, the middle of an empty theater during the day, like would help me understand her words better. But like at that time I was like, all right, yeah, no, this is good business. But like it was the good convoluence of like a well-written thing and a good delivery, and of course editing, and sound design and all these other things help. But like it did remind me of like, I could almost picture her like the theater lights go up and she walks out with a microphone and makes that like soliloquy.
I am going to read an excerpt from it. I don't think it's that spoilery, but she says, as for being a whore, a homewrecker, immoral, sure, it doesn't hold a fucking candle to your righteousness. That's the real sickness here, your righteousness and hypocrisy. It's a simple fact that you can't live by the rules that you set, yet you still pretend. This is your world. You built this. If it's too strict, tear it the fuck down. But don't look at me. Don't take your hate out on me. I just got here, and I have no clue where to go, because from the moment I arrived, all I ever was given were orders. Smile, open up, cross your legs, spread your pussy, speak softer, scream louder, be quiet, be confident, be interesting. Don't be so difficult, be strong, be an angel, be a whore, be a princess, be anything you want to be, even the President of the United States of America. Just kidding. Fuck you. You still want to kill me, rape me, stab me, shoot me? Let's go. Rally your fucking crew. Grab your guns and hide behind your masks. You want to do this in real life now? Give it your best shot, because you prepared me my whole life for this. You may kill me, but you can't kill us all.
Yeah, that's very prophetic considering the world that we live in now.
Yeah, I sort of did the same as Mars. Like, I just did a pump my fist during that, because I just thought it was just like fucking rallying cry.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And then what happens as well that's happening while that's going on, I just thought was really awesome. And so I think, is there anything else that you guys want to bring up before we head to the verdict on this?
That would have been amazing if that was read during the Kavanaugh hearings.
we could probably like, there's probably people out there that could do some sort of like edit.
Yeah. That would have been insane. I would be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, I loved hearing you say spread my pussy. I don't know.
I should have had you read it, Aries. That would have been even better.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to the verdict on this one.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, it is verdict time. We're going to let you know whether this flick was a trick or a treat and any final thoughts we may have. Let's kick it off with Aries.
Oh shit!
You're in the chair.
I'm in the seat. I'm in the hot seat.
The uncomfortable seat. Oh no!
No! I switched. I got my cushion. I got my old man cushion.
You got your was it a donut?
No, it's not a donut.
Hemorrhoid
It's not
donut?
a hemorrhoid donut. It's just my old man cushion. Let me first, before I start saying, I wouldn't change anything about this movie, but I do think this movie did itself a little bit of a disservice. I'm not exactly sure how they would change it, but to appeal to mainstream media, like I said, I don't know how they would change it, but I just feel like something is too much, lacking, missing to appeal to mainstream media. This movie definitely needs mainstream appeal. Everyone should watch this movie.
So you think it's a little bit too niche based on some of the content?
Some of the content, yes. Like I said, I don't know what would change. I cannot say that what would change, but
because otherwise it might not have the impact.
Yes, exactly. But all in all, this movie, definitely is a treat. Do yourself a favor, watch this movie twice.
Did you watch it twice?
No,
Oh.
I'm going to watch it again.
All right, MZ.
Yeah, I'm happy to say that this is so far one of the best films I've seen this year, and I'm very surprised. I'm also very. I was very nervous watching this. I really was nervous watching this because it's so close to what's going on in this world right now, and it's frightening and it's scary and it's concerning. And I don't know what it is, but I haven't felt this way about a film since I saw. Now, don't laugh. Since I saw, because of the uncomfortability I'm talking about now. Megan is Missing, and before that,
oh boy,
The Girl Next Door.
Yep.
Now, both of those films have to deal with the torture of a young girl. Now, that's what goes on in here as well, and I don't know if there's some sort of connotation to that makes me feel as uncomfortable as I did watching this, but there it is. I thought it was very well done, very stylish, and lots of color, never, ever, ever boring. A very busy film, a very hectic film, a very loud and very brazen film. This is a very good movie. I strongly suggest watching it and watching it often. This is a treat.
All right, Mars Man.
Giant treat. This made. I'm still hoping to do some sort of special content. Top 25. I just fucking need to finish all the movies that I should watch for last year. But this definitely broke my real life top 5. So.
Yes.
That's a fucking crowded field. So
yeah.
This last year, so. Awesome.
How about you, Freddie?
Yeah, this was actually a top 10 for me last year.
Nice.
This was on my list. This film's phenomenal. I think it hits all the right nerves. I think if they took the trigger warnings away from the beginning, it might even have an even heavier impact on some people when they're watching it.
Yeah.
I mean, I want my 6-year-old niece to watch this movie. No, but
let's hope you don't babysit her anytime soon.
I'm always babysitting her. This movie's great. I can't recommend it enough. Definitely, if you haven't seen it, seek it out because it's a total treat, and you'll be talking about it for hours.
Like we just did almost. All right, and for me, also big. This is a big treat for me. This film was really intense, and it was very revealing snapshot of us as a society right now. It shows just how tenuous of a grasp we have on our reality and how our lives can change in an instance when our secrets or whatever we're trying to hide are revealed, and how upset we get at others for it, but we don't take accountability for our own bullshit. And I love that it sets a retelling, at least for me. I was just thinking of the Salem witch trials. Against a modern backdrop of social media and high school drama. And I think this is very well executed technically as well as creatively. Definitely a big treat for me. And since everyone else said it, I guess I'll say watch it multiple times. That's the first time I think we've ever had people mention how many times to watch a movie, but
there's a lot to take in.
Yeah, it is dense. It's dense, and I think it's really just demonstrates how much of a success the script is because it balances so many things and it nails it. You know, like I'm not going to say it's like one of the best scripts I've ever seen, but it to be able to balance everything that this film balanced and to nail it, like that's a pretty Herculean effort right there to do. So,
did you notice that one of the producers is David Goyer?
I did, yeah, I did see David Goyer's name on there.
It's like a solid punch to the nose and a kick to the nuts at the same time, and you don't know which one hurts more, but it's great.
Yeah,
exactly. It's really well done though.
Yeah, for sure. So that is our discussion about Assassination Nation. I think we could probably have a lot more discussion about the film if there's anyone out there who didn't get a chance to get their thoughts in and would like to send their thoughts on Assassination Nation about the film, or any of the sort of themes. Feel free to send us a voice message or an email, podcast@trickortreatradio.com. And next week, I'm looking forward to our discussion next week. We'll have a guest in the studio, but first let me talk about the movie. We're going to be talking about Lords of Chaos, which is the Norwegian black metal biopic about mayhem, and it is directed by just drew a blank at his name. It is the guy who did Polar.
Åkerlund or something like that?
Jonas Åkerlund. That's right.
Yeah, Jonas Åkerlund.
And and I didn't know this when we reviewed Polar, but Jonas Åkerlund was he was in a black metal band. He was a part of the band Bathory. So interesting that he sort of tackled this, and I'm really looking forward to checking it out. And to help us talk about the film is someone who knows a lot about filmmaking and a lot about black metal, and that would be MZ's director on several films that he's worked on. The great Brian Paulin will be in studio next week. So we'll have Brian. We'll talk. We'll catch up about what he's been working on with his films. He's got a couple in the sort of that he's working on. Morbid Tales and Septic, right, MZ?
Yeah.
So
he's still got some things going on.
So we'll be talking to Brian about those. He's hanging out, I think, for the whole entire episode. So I think he'll be here in studio for the whole thing. So if you guys want to get in on it, leave your thoughts on Lords of Chaos or even just black metal in general, feel free to shoot your messages. Or if you have questions for Brian,
don't shoot your messages.
Shoot your messengers.
Yeah, don't shoot them.
Or if you guys have questions for Brian, he is sort of the king of low budget gore, as and we're not just saying that either. Obviously, as Craig Zahler in Fangoria #1 talked a lot about Brian being sort of the godfather of gore, of no budget gore. So and we got a chance, all of us except Aries, unfortunately, got a chance to work on Septic with Brian. Yeah. So we saw firsthand how he runs a set, how he does everything. So it was pretty cool. So,
and I've done 5 films with him.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be more.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it already. Come on, Brian.
I think I'm his new guy, actually.
You're
the new it guy.
Yeah, I think I'm the new guy.
All right, so we're gonna take a break in a sec, but before we do that, got to say a big thanks to Fred. We really appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us, and it was awesome just shooting the shit with you about film, man. Like you definitely know your shit, and it's always fun to chat with you about horror and just films in general.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. It's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll definitely we'll update folks about the Kickstarter, as it starts next Wednesday, and also we'll mention on the show next week and talk about some of the maybe some of the tiers, so people can find out some more about that. But obviously we'll have you back again anytime, Fred. Anytime you want to come back, or if there's a movie you especially want to talk about, we'll certainly be in touch and we'll do it again soon. But everyone go check out Mixtape Massacre Escape from Tall Oaks. It'll be hitting Kickstarter on March 6th. It'll be available for 30 days. Make sure to get your support in for the folks over at Mixtape Massacre, because they do great stuff, and this game sounds like it's going to be fucking awesome. So I can't wait to play it, and we're long overdue for a Black Mask playthrough, which we haven't even had a chance to do yet. So we're long overdue for that on the show. So we'll hopefully get a chance to do that soon. So anything else that you wanted to promote or talk about, Fred?
Nah, you guys enjoy Lords of Chaos. That was a trip.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for having me.
You got it, Fred. We'll definitely catch up with you soon, and best of luck with the Kickstarter, man.
All right.
All right. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Do you love a scary story? Do you love to dance? The Big Scary Monster Haunts at Midnight is a collection of dark songs about sex, love, death, revenge, and the end of the world. Brought to you by the world's greatest monster hunting electro-genre band, the Deadites.
This is Matt Kennedy of Astron 6. You might know me as Manborg. You might know me as Father John Sullivan in Father's Day. But what's important right now is that you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
Oh, delicious nerds. Ms. M knows you like to chat it up with other sexy shut-ins about comics, movies, video games, and your favorite TV shows. If that sounds like you, cuddle up to the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group, or the FIB. That stands for Fan Interaction Board. Just go to Facebook and search for Trick or Treat Radio and have more fun than a Jedi at a lightsaber sale. Not enough? Watch us on YouTube, The Deadites TV, all one word. Last but not least, check out the world's most dangerous talk radio show, Trick or Treat Radio, at trickortreatradio.com.
I can tell you I'm never coming back on this show. Especially now that I did that thing that you just made me do. Which I will be sending you an invoice for.
We're back on Trick or Treat Radio. Well, Fred was awesome as always.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed talking film with him too. That was the first time we've had him on for film discussion, and he definitely knows
that more often.
Definitely knows his shit, man.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
You know, MZ, we were just talking about off air, like the insecurities of some of the subject matter. Like the way I see it from your point of view is think about all the fucking terrible, repugnant stuff you tell us that you're into. Like, imagine the fucking shit that that you don't want anyone to know. Like, that's fucking scary.
Well, you know what? I was thinking about this as I was watching the film, and I'm saying to myself, now, granted, these are just kids, so they have their whole life ahead of them. Their mindset is different. I'm 47 years old. And so, my opinion. Probably
mentally,
but yes, very much. But what I was thinking about myself as I was watching this was that, and this was before the big speech that Lily gives at the end.
Yep,
was be yourself. Don't give a shit what other people think. If you want to be this person, be this person. If you want to be that person, Be that person. If you have this kind of a personality, have that personality. You know, if you want to do this, do this. If you want to do that, do that. Be yourself. Don't let anybody tell you what you can or cannot do. Don't give a shit what anybody thinks, says, or does. And if people don't like it, tell them to go fuck off. That's how I look at it now. Well, I've been looking at it like that for some time now, but I mean, I think I'm my mind is a whole hell of a lot more clear, and my conscience is a hell of a lot more clear, knowing that I could just do what I want to do and not give a shit about what anybody thinks.
Yeah,
I mean, granted, it's different for them because they're teenagers, and like I said, they have their whole life ahead of them. And I guess if you're gonna do that, you start early. You got a better grasp of being yourself. You get to enjoy life a little bit more instead of trying to placate to others. But for me, I say fuck anybody who's trying to change you.
I think to a degree, I think you're right, but I think that also is a little short-sighted because, thinking of, I guess, and maybe this is going to open up a can of worms, but that's easy for us to say. We're all we're not marginalized at all. But for, let's say, a lesbian African-American woman, she has all the societal pressure working against her of not being able to do that because people are going to get down on her for
maybe
for that
so,
shit.
but she's also got a hell of a lot more support than she would have had, say, 20 years
ago.
Oh,
well, that's for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And so to a degree, I think everyone should be free to do what they want and be who they want. And and even we had a transgender character in this, which and it was except for some of the guys, it was no big fucking deal, right? Yeah. It didn't matter.
They were beautiful too. What a stunning human being. If the world turns enough to not squint at things that aren't like them, there is a great career.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think the name is. I don't know if it's pronounced Harry or Hari. It's Hari. Hari Neff, I think is how you'd say it. And so Hari has been in a few things. It was in the TV series, Netflix series You, Transparent, the Amazon series. So it is good to see transgendered people getting roles and
sure
for not having it really matter. Because 20 years ago, MZ, you're right. People would have been like, "What the fuck," and still to a degree, there are people that are going to say that now, which is shitty. But it is good to see that we've taken a few steps forward at least, and we're certainly not even close to where we need to be. But in some respects, we've gotten closer, and in other respects, we've taken steps back. So so I think you are right. I think that people should just be who they want to be. That's one thing that that we have the ability to be is be yourself. But when you have so much working against you, once again, except maybe Mars, we're all straight, straight white dudes. So we are the least marginalized people in at least in this country, maybe the world. So it's hard for us to say, but the good thing is I think that and over the course of this podcast, the near 7 years we've been doing it, I think we've all grown a lot, and we can sort of track progress in those nearly 7 years of where we were versus where we've come, and I think that that's sort of one of the interesting sort of side effects of doing the show is some of the topics that we've discussed, even just some of the way that we perceive things is different. And I think that's good. We're sort of people can sort of see the growth in us. I wouldn't say that we're all the way there, but I think that it's interesting to see the reflection of society on how it affects and we're just a small microcosm of it. So,
and I wasn't even aware that she was even transgender.
No,
I had zero clue on that.
Well, they
talked about it in the movie though.
Well, they handled it perfectly. It wasn't like a smack in the face. They just kind of, it was naturally introduced.
Yeah.
There was no smack in the face about it. It was naturally introduced.
She was just one of the girls.
Yeah.
At the beginning, and then there was that scene where she's with Diamond, the guy Diamond, and it sort of alludes to, that. And he didn't want his friends to know because he felt that it would reflect poorly on him, which it did, So, but but I think that character was interesting too, and he didn't have a ton of screen time, but just the little that he was on screen, you could see the pressure put on him by everyone else.
Yeah.
But at the end, he was able to sort of be himself and be comfortable with what he was, or what he wanted. So,
very good movie.
So yeah, we had talked that. During the break, we could probably talk about the movie next week too, because there's a lot to unpack and a lot to discuss. In the chat room, we have a few people hanging out. Creepy Girl is in the chat room. She says, "Hey, what's up? Listening in at work. Where we at with the review?" And we actually just finished talking about it. Creepy Girl, we did it a little bit early because we had Fred Carlini from Mixtape Massacre with us. And Creepy Girl says, "I didn't even realize she was transgender at first either." So. First Time Mike says, "This review makes me want to check this movie out."
Yeah, definitely do that.
And Justin B is hanging out, but he says, "Going to bed. Have a great night, everyone." Take care, Justin. Thanks for checking in, man. And so let's see. Was there anything else we're going to talk about? I'm trying to think of. We didn't have another topic necessarily. I mean, we could continue to talk about the movie because there's a lot to talk about. But we also do have some voicemail. I think we got a few of them this week.
Can I talk about something for a second?
Please.
So I botched it in the fucking intro because my radio voice got away from me. But
your radio voice or your phone?
No. It was my radio.
You were distracted up until the intro.
No, well, I was doing. Wolfie will back me up here. I was doing the post, and I had forgot to do it. Like normally, I have it all put together, and I just had to wait for Wolfie or me to take the picture. And then all of a sudden, he's like, "All right, let's roll." And I was like, "Oh my god, I didn't even write edit the post so that it said live now." So that's why I said,
forget I was in the room with you two going back and forth about this photo.
Right. Well, people weren't like.
Well, you're talking to me like I don't know the.
Well, you were implying I was doing something else, but I wasn't.
Well, because you were.
I wasn't.
A little bit of both.
No, I wasn't. You don't know about my fucking ways.
You know what? You didn't silence your phone. You were doing a little bit of both.
All right, I'm not on this show anymore.
You don't know his struggle.
Greg, pick up.
You gonna whine now that I called you out?
Yes.
I thought you liked to fight with me.
No, I don't like to fight about this.
You don't like to lose.
It makes me uncomfortable. This is my real life business.
Okay, so go ahead and try to explain why
October 12th and 13th. I mean,
God damn!
What the hell?
Wolfie, help me.
April 12th and 13th.
Right.
It's the 25th annual Deadite celebration. Is that what you wanted to say?
No, I wanted to say it was the 25th because we haven't done this on April 12th and 13th for 25 years.
It's weird. You always pronounce the T in fifth. Fifth. You say like 25th. I don't know. It just bugs me.
For those of you who didn't see it, that was a very effeminate hand wave at Wolfie.
Why don't you do it, Monster Zero? You tell all your friends to come to the event?
Yeah. It's the 25th. April 25th and 26th. Oh, no, it's the 12th.
It's the 12th and 13th.
and the 13th.
Is Mars calling his management right now? So, what was there something you wanted to say in addition to
I just wanted to talk it up. It's been,
Oh, I thought you had an announcement or something.
No, nothing new. But
so, Friday, April 12th. What's the room, Mars?
I don't even know what's happening. Where are we?
Oh, my
the
God.
Bull Mansion.
No, I'm asking for the 12th. Wasn't even the fucking room.
Parkview
Room.
Parkview Room. There you go.
all
The
fucking,
beautiful.
yeah.
It overlooks the beautiful Elm Park
Complete with the fucking raccoon.
with the raccoon, who may or may not be a raccoon-bee.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be exciting because we're bringing an award-winning film, and I should have an announcement, but I didn't. I found a really cool sponsor for that night. That's really excited. They are making us. I just need, before I can announce it formally. I'm probably gonna wait till next week to do it, but I'll get the info. I just didn't get the fall together, but they're gonna make like a. As you know, E&L Music is doing the music show on the 13th, and this organization is going to not only help us with some gear and stuff that we may need for both nights. They're gonna make us a cool Deadites 25th anniversary like backdrop thing to take pictures in front of, and I'm bringing somebody in from out of town on the night of the 13th and 12th to do kind of like we'll stream them right to the Deadites Facebook, some red carpety sort of stuff. And
is there going to be a red carpet?
I'm working on it. But yeah, it's gonna be cool. And I don't know where this is gonna be red carpet.
A black carpet.
And I'm working on. I will tell you my biggest Deadite surprise that I was working on, and literally that's probably a fair thing to say. Officially got kiboshed today, so I was really disappointed about that. But we've pretty much decided that it's happening at Halloween next year, and it'll be crazy. Some people might say that it's psycho, but
there you go with that Bill tease.
Yeah, but I am working on a couple of other people to at least maybe do a song or two or come up and do some things. So
get naked.
Yeah, watch that curtain when the El Goro's making the introductions, because I guarantee you don't know everybody who's going to come through it.
It's going to be like the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
right?
it's going to be fucking wild. Exactly.
Be some surprises.
Maybe Jeff Jarrett will show up.
I will tell you who will not be there.
Road Dogg?
Or that she may be there, but not on stage. But I just wanted to report for anybody who was curious. Our own Myra K-Rock is doing better after her health problems that occurred. She's on vacation right now. She's relaxing. She's taking some time. She got yelled at by me yesterday like she was my daughter because I found out they had booked a show, and I felt like that was too soon. But she assured me that it's going to be okay, and she's taking it easy and not singing all the songs. So
yeah.
But yeah, the Deadites will be waiting for you, darling, when you come back, and you're my hero. You're the toughest lady around. So I know you listen every week, so just keep on.
So we're sorry, Myra.
Yeah, no.
and we're all pulling for you.
Yeah, we didn't talk. I mean, she's doing great. She's back to her real life.
Yeah.
She is having, it's still, I mean, that's a fucking, you don't just get up and be better from that. So there is some things. But
scary shit, yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't talk about it when it happened because I wanted to respect her privacy. But, we have been thinking of you and pulling for you the entire time. So I love you. And, you got to come back on the show soon as you're ready. Anyway,
yeah, absolutely. She's always welcome.
Yeah. So the but you're not going to know on the 13th and maybe the 12th. There is a certain diminutive redhead that has threatened crashing the live Trick or Treat radio. So you never fucking know what's going to happen. You don't know who's going to come through.
A couple diminutive redheads.
Well, you never know who's going to. You never know, but.
Never know who's going to show up on Trick or Treat Radio.
You never know. I'm not going to give any hints. Supposedly, I have a third way I talk to her, though.
There you go again.
But
if anyone listened to 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you never know. You know who's going to come through that door. We have a steady Deadites lineup right now, but we're one.
Larry Bird's not walking through that door.
So yeah, it's going to be fucking Wild and Willie on both nights. You never know. Will somebody with some fucking?
Is it going to be Wild and Wiley?
Yeah. Working on that too. Especially when gone are the days when I could ask one of them to show up and not get the hi hat from the other one.
Right,
so
right.
That text came before I had announced him. But I do have a plan for that, and hopefully we can make that happen. It's tough logistically, but I can't imagine not having. There's a big portion of my work day that is spent ignoring. what I'm supposed to be doing and talking to Wiley. So, you know, like I couldn't imagine having this weekend without her in some capacity. So, but like, yeah, it's gonna be crazy. You know, you know, who's gonna come through the fucking door? Ares, DC 10's new Deadites character.
Let me call you out right here in front of everyone.
Oh boy, here we
is there
go.
anything I'm gonna need to fucking do?
What do you mean?
Yeah, let Aries know ahead of time.
What do
if he
I
needs to
mean?
build
What? Because
anything.
like usually like 3 days before. Hey, can you build this?
Well, I do think we should go look at the room because I am a little worried about like. The
That's what
space
I'm
and
calling you out right now. Is there anything you fucking like?
let me know what a day works, and I'll try to get up there. And we'll figure out if we need anything. If we don't need anything, I would rather just have you do whatever you want to do. But if we need something, I
want to stay home.
All right, we'll do that. you and your
I'm
fucking
old.
You and your fucking buckets can stay home then. Bucket McBangy.
I'm old.
Yeah, so fine.
Creepy Girl says, "Man, I wish I could have left a voicemail at work. I host game night and we played Drawing Without Dignity. So I was drawing penises, boobs, and hoo-haws all night."
Hoo-haws probably seem like they're hard to draw.
Why say penis and then hoo-ha? Why not vagina?
Oh, vagina. I was thinking of something different.
What the hell were you thinking of?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, what do you think?
What's a
what's a
hoo-ha in
hoo-ha?
your world?
Hoo-ha, that's a funny variety.
Got you
show.
all in the check.
It's a cowboy variety show.
Hoo-ha, got you all.
Hey now. Hoo-ha.
Hoo-ha. Well, Mabel.
Hoo-ha.
Well, Mabel.
Yeah, Al Pacino over here. Hoo-ha.
Well, Mabel, he went to the county fair.
Wow. So, yeah, I want to say that I'm super excited for next week. Have Brian in studio.
Yeah, it's good to see him again.
I kind of put it out there because he had I know he's such a big fan of black metal, and he performs black metal.
Yeah.
He's in a black metal band, so I wanted to get someone who we haven't had on in a while, and I was like, man, like he's like perfect, right? Like he's the perfect person to have on for that episode. And we've been talking about getting Brian back in studio anyway, so it seems like a perfect opportunity. So we'll have Brian with us next week to talk about Lords of Chaos.
I do have one more quick thing to talk
Yeah.
about. So the 2018 Darkness for Light recipient, it seems like it was forever, but there's 1 month left. On the 26th of this coming month, March, she will publicly announce her successor. And there will be a passing of the torch ceremony. I think
Figuratively or literally?
Well, I don't think they'll let us bring fire into either of those joints, but I got to work out. I think it's going to be on the 12th because we have a little more, on the 13th rather, because we have a little more wiggle room with room rental time. But yeah, so it's going to be cool. But you know, she still Kim Cody, the recipient now, still needs help. She's in more danger than ever of losing everything that she has, of not being able to go back to work yet, and so. You know, give what you can. Every dollar helps. Every share helps. Shares are priceless. So just, you know, look up GoFundMe. We Love Kim Cody and COTE. And, you know, she's still quite a way away. I'm hoping to work something out with these guys that, you know, in the next month we can do some sort of special or premium content or something. I know Wolfie and I have talked about it, but we're both real busy in our other lives. So, you know, some sort of thing in March that we can go, you know, and try to, it's a lot of money, but if she can make even part of her goal, a part of the goal that Alexander put in a GoFundMe, she'll be able to secure her house for a few more months and maybe get back on her feet. And, you know, it would be, you know, that'd be great. I would like to shuffle off this mortal coil knowing that she's doing okay. So.
Shuffle off this mortal coil.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? The fucking 14th of April, I'm fucking driving off Bridge Quinsigamond.
You're not driving anywhere.
He's gonna make Aries drive and then pull the wheel.
If he's gonna do it, he's gonna drive.
I'll have.
Well, that will ensure that he does it
I'll have you know I drove yesterday.
illegally.
Well, I don't know. Of course,
I'm calling the cops.
Oh, no. Sorry.
I'm calling the cops on
And
you.
driving someone nuts doesn't count.
What?
Driving someone nuts doesn't count.
No, I drove down to buy myself a delicious hot beverage because I had the worst.
Cops listening?
Maybe. I know one's cop is. I had a fucking splitting headache because I've been like on a diet, and one of the things I'm trying not to have is
what's
coffee.
Your diet?
It's nobody likes a fat guy diet. Like that's what I call it. No, I call it the nobody likes a fat front man diet.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you don't eat anything?
I've been doing real low to no carb. And I'm gonna. I think eventually I have this kind of. Sorry, Raven Shadow. I'm sorry anything else, but I think I have this vegetarian, quasi-vegetarian diet. But like right now, knowing my lack of discipline and my lack of like wanting to drink soda and do everything, like I'm just doing super low carb. It's good. You know. So I didn't go to the food court one time over the last 3 days.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Well,
Let's see if you can
hard,
do it for
that's
a
hard to
week.
resist. I mean, when you work in such close proximity to that place, man, it's tough.
Now, to be fucking fair, on Saturday when I decided I wasn't going to do it the other days, I definitely had 3 ice cream cones to make up for the fact that I wasn't going to have any.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
But they were vegan ice cream cones, so it's okay.
I doubt it.
They came from fucking Burger King, so I guarantee they didn't have any dairy or anything. They were fucking plastic, probably. But, yeah, because I'm still on a budget. I could have had 3 fake ice creams or 1 really good small ice cream at the Jolt.
Balling on a budget.
Yeah, so yeah, I still have to get that IG-88 to complete my 6-inch bounty hunter collection. So
Speaking of budget,
because I got a display. I got Boba Fett now.
Boba Fett.
I got Bosk. I special ordered Bosk about when I first started working at that joint. It finally showed up. And now I need a IG-88, and I have a Death's Head too. So I'm gonna have all these famous and a Deathstroke. So I'm gonna have like this ultimate bounty hunter team. It's gonna be very virgin worthy. Whoa, Wolfie's touching my mic.
Yeah, it was pointing down.
Well, that's
you're flaccid.
That's the part of me that has the most to say. So yeah, I've been on a diet. I am trying to.
For 3 days, you said?
So far.
Okay.
I was on it for 3 days once before, and I had some, let's just say, some real life troubles.
Did you have to set the clock back?
No.
I saw that you almost had to set it back.
Yeah, it was close. People would not leave the fucking store. But like, yeah, so I had some relationship troubles, and I commiserated those by having a BK box.
What is a BK box?
It's one of their big sandwiches. I had a
Jesus.
I had a burger, Whopper with cheese and fry. It comes with Whopper with cheese, fries, 2 cookies, and a drink. And then I got a chicken sandwich. And then I got a 2 combo.
Is this on your no meat diet?
Yeah, what part of diet is this on?
No, this was the day I broke it. Yeah. It was funny, and then there's another day I was on the diet for 8 hours. That day was slow. Somebody congratulated me to ask how I was doing, but they didn't see the picture of me with the ice cream cones on Instagram.
You do realize this is just supposed to be like ongoing. This isn't like hours at a time.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not good at it. I'm trying. This is 3 days straight.
You're trying?
If I go all the way tomorrow, right?
That's the problem. You got to fucking pull a Yoda. Do or do not. There is no try.
Well, if I go all the way tomorrow, then I think I'll be okay. Like I think once I get past 4 days, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Because I already am
do
not.
Or do not.
I think
there is no try. Yeah.
I think it's 21 days.
You could live to be 900 years
old. Is that the rule?
I don't know, but I am starting to not care about like today. I didn't think about the food court at all.
Yeah, if you do something for 21 days, it becomes a habit. That's what people say.
Well, that's actually not true. I thought about it a little bit when the Foxy manager from the store across the way came over and asked if I wanted anything down there. But that's the only time I thought of it.
All right.
So, and I wasn't so much thinking about the food court. But the reality is that.
So were you Boskin on a budget?
Yeah, I am Boskin on a budget. Bosk has weird hands. I forgot about that till I got him. How's he hold that
Does he
gun?
have 3 fingers? Is it?
Yeah, I haven't took him out of the box yet, but I know that gun's just gonna fucking fall on the shelf all the time. Or point at his feet like he's gonna blow his 2 toes off. So yeah, I am dedicated to trying to make myself and the things around me better, and I think that physically making myself better is important to that too. I have been inspired by many people that have made their own. Astron 6 are making their own movies. No one is showing the type of films that they wanted to see, and they're working on all these big budget films, but no one was doing it, so they went and they made their own fucking movies. Right? They made the movies that they wanted to see, that they wanted
and unfortunately, they might not be making any more.
I didn't hear that.
Well, they're too spread apart now, and they're just not getting the money they need to get to have them all get together. So
I mean, it's been going forever. But
although they were at Sundance with Chow Boys,
right,
and supposedly went over pretty well. So who knows?
Pro Wrestling Guerrilla is making the type of wrestling they want, and of course, my one of my favorite wrestlers, Kenny Omega, went out and is making wrestling the way he wants it to be. On the flip side of that, Jim Cornette is making a business the way that he wants it to be. He's not depending on another podcast and like a bigger podcast entity.
He's exposing the business, brother.
Well, he's not exposing the business,
know.
yeah. But and I was just really inspired that I'm gonna make the things that I want to make, and I'm gonna be a better me. I'm gonna make Monster Zero better in the process. It's
oh God, don't do that.
Is that possible?
Don't waste your time on me.
No, but I can try. I can try. Hal, open the pod doors. We can do this.
Hal, open the pod bay doors, please.
Yeah. Did you guys see the Alexa commercial where they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. Everybody thinks that's fucking awesome. I'm terrified of that thing. There was that. Were you with me when I saw? Did you see the short about Alexa killing people?
No.
Yeah. No. Everybody else was like, "This was hilarious and charming." Nope.
No idea what you're talking about right now.
Huh?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Pops. Alexa. Alexa is a Google device that you talk to, and it does stuff for you. Aaron's mad at you for laughing.
You're gonna kill Mars.
Well, he
He's
does
not dropping his drink.
He does want to shuffle off.
I don't know what the joke is. What's it?
I called you Pops.
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
That's gonna be his new nickname.
I still don't understand why that's that funny.
You sound like Raven Shadow. What is this Alexa business?
Well, no, I know what Alexa is. I just don't know the commercial.
Oh, okay. I take it back then, Pops. You're a youngin'.
I guess I don't watch enough TV, which I thought I would watch the most out of this room.
Yeah.
I don't watch any TV, really. I mean, let me take that back. I don't watch cable. I have, I watch more news than I probably should. In this day and age, probably too much. I know, MZ, you were watching the news a lot for a while there.
Yeah, I stopped. I'm down to
down to fuck.
Literally, if I watch maybe 2 hours. If I watch maybe 2 hours a week of this stuff, then that's a big week.
That's probably good because you're watching a lot of it.
Yeah. I was saturating my brain in that shit. I had to get away from it. Oh boy!
You guys want to hear some voicemail?
Sure. Let's light them up.
All right. So we heard from a few folks, and let's kick things off with our boy, Evil Corny.
Hey guys, this is Evil Corny. Assassination Nation was one of my favorite films of last year. I rewatched it a couple days ago. To me, it's scary because things like this have happened in this country, really this world, throughout history. Social media was a lot more relevant in this one, but until people start showing more empathy for each other and quit blaming each other for their shortcomings, or quit blaming groups of people for their shortcomings, things like this will always happen. And we'll never really move as a race until we overcome that. You guys have a good one. Evil Corny out.
All right, Corny. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
And glad you dug the movie. I think he might have talked about it on a previous voicemail too. But always appreciate hearing from you, buddy. Creepy Girl in the chat room says, "I love my Alexas."
So do I.
What do you have your Alexa do for you?
Give us the weather. Tell the time.
Because you can't look at your phone.
No, I can. I can.
Then what's the big
Play
deal?
music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you say? You don't like music?
No, I'll say like, Alexa, play some baby metal, and next thing you know, it'll play baby metal. Play some Elton John. It'll start playing Elton John. I dig it.
Goodbye, Monster Zero.
Play some Lords of Chaos, and it won't do that. So.
Though I'll never see your waistline again, remember your awesome beard you had. You look like Homer Simpson in disguise.
Oh, shit. Aries just owned you on the fib.
What?
Aries just owned you on the fib, Mars.
Why?
Go look. That's amazing.
You forget I'm a moderator, and if I don't like it, go right down.
No, you're not getting rid of that. I'll put it back. Aries, I'll wait till Mars sees it, and I'll explain it to the folks at home.
I like the top left one.
Of course you do. You see it, Mars?
He's looking at it right now.
You can't argue with it, can you?
So Aries posted a meme about how to hold a microphone correct. There's a guy who's like putting it in his mouth, like holding it under his chin, holding it down near his chest, talking like on the other side of it, putting it right into his mouth, holding it like 2 feet away. Mars isn't laughing now.
Oh, I just got the evil eye. Oh, and he's typing furiously.
Oh, he's...
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
All right, well, let's go to the next one. And this is our boy, First Time Mike.
What's up, Trick or Treat family? This is First Time Mike. How's everybody doing?
Good, buddy.
Missed the time travel discussion last week, so I just had a couple thoughts on that one. First of all, Monster Zero, totally right on Time After Time. Great movie, underrated movie.
Tell him, Cindy.
Malcolm McDowell is great. David Warner is great. Mary Steenburgen's great. I just totally enjoy that movie. It's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah, Time After Time, well worth searching out. The movie I'd like to talk about for my time travel thing is I have a fondness for Trancers. The first one was by Empire Films, and the sequels, of course, by Full Moon Entertainment. And I love the concept of Trancers because for the first couple movies, there's not a time machine, but basically your consciousness is sent down called the lines. So basically from, I think it was the 23rd century in Trancers, and your Jack Death's consciousness is put into the body of his ancestor, and that's how the beings travel through time, is not physically but mentally, and that's expanded in future the sequels to the movie. They get kind of weird towards the end, but like the first three, are pretty good. I have a fondness for the fourth and fifth ones, which are set in an alternate universe and written by Peter David. They're pretty cheesy, but I enjoyed them nonetheless. But I love the initial concept of time travel, is that it starts out with psionic time travel, basically travel by mind. There's a time machine later, but that's more of a MacGuffin. And it's really interesting that you don't see a lot of movies have that version of time travel. I've read it in a couple novels, but it's a different one. It was nice to see that on the screen. And Tim Thomerson is awesome. And as far as I'm concerned, one of my B-movie uncles. So I really enjoy, especially check out the original Trancers. Transfers 2 has Richard Lynch and Jeffrey Combs, and number 3 has Andrew Robinson in it, and it's set in the modern day. It's not too bad, and it has a man shark cyborg, which is actually pretty cool too. Other things, I also went to see. I rented Overlord last week when it came out on Blu-ray, and I thought it was pretty good. A little bit more horror movie than I expected, but I thought it was pretty good. It was less video game Wolfenstein like I thought it would be, but there was a couple of parts that actually made me go ooh. So if you can get me to do that in a movie and catch me off guard, I think it's pretty good. The acting was good. I thought some of the makeup artists, there's a couple scenes where the CGI looked a little bit but all in all, Overlord, I give it a treat. Also, a question for Monster Zero. Hey, when is Morbid Tales coming out? Because I know you've been talking about it for about almost a year now, but is that going to be coming out soon? And hope you guys are all well. Aries, I hope you're resting up from all the snow you guys are getting. Hope Raven Shadow's good. Johnny, you do good. Mars, hope you're doing good. MZ, all you guys, this is First Time Mike saying good night. Bye.
Thank you, buddy. Always a pleasure to hear from you. Some great films. Yeah, like I haven't seen Transfer since, I don't know, maybe the early 90s.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, so I that one just totally slipped my mind. And I have yet to see Overlord. I believe you saw it, Mars?
Yeah, I saw it in the theater.
Yeah, you liked it, right?
Yeah, I think it was my last. I think it was when I finally ran out of AMC money.
Ah.
But yeah, no, I really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you take it for just being Hi.
Hi, what?
Nothing. I thought you were on the fib. Nothing.
You thought I was where?
Nothing.
Okay.
If you take it for just the movie that it is, and not the movie that you think it's gonna be, like it's actually pretty perfect. Like it it's one of those movies which is more like an RPG than an RPG. What's the matter, Wolfie?
I saw that your retort. It's an old man. It says back in my day, we criticized technology, not play games with it.
Yeah, no, I saw it. I just
ignored it.
Well, to answer his question,
yes, please.
Well, certainly Brian is far more qualified than I am to answer this kind of a question.
We'll have him next week,
and we'll have that answer next week. We'll ask him for you. And but as far as I know, I mean, I filmed that stuff. What? Maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
It's been a long, long time. And I think he's just looking to try and get financing to get the DVDs authorized or authored, I think the term is.
Yeah, get him authored, I think, yeah. So we'll have to ask Brian, because do you know if he's against crowdfunding? Do you know his thoughts on it?
I don't. I don't know.
We can talk about that
because I mean, he hasn't done anything like that as far as I know. So it's hard to say. Or maybe he's just trying to do it the truly independent way by just raising the money himself.
And I totally get that. I can understand. I can understand why people wouldn't want to go that route, but I would imagine that he could probably have some success with it. He's got enough fans out there,
Yeah, I mean, and if his work is, and his history is good enough to make it in issue 1 of Fangoria,
Yeah.
There's got to be something to him, man.
Yep, absolutely. So, but
we'll ask him next week.
Absolutely. We'll ask Brian next week. It's I don't know. I think first time Mike sent his voicemail before we mentioned that we'd have Brian, but it was good timing, I guess, on that question. So. And first time Mike in the chat room says, thanks for the answers, guys. You got it, buddy.
What can you fucking imagine what's on Monster Zero's phone that you don't want to know about? Like I'm like just captivated by that concept.
Yeah, but the thing is, he wouldn't be embarrassed by it.
Well, imagine what he is embarrassed by. That's the problem.
I don't know if he's. I don't know if he'd be embarrassed by
I'm not really
anything.
embarrassed by much.
Considering you fucking outed yourself with the bestiality.
The only thing I know, the only thing I'm embarrassed by is who's in our White House right now.
You're like
that's
some fucking
pretty much it.
Weird, twisted Dr. Doolittle. He
doesn't
fuck
have
with the animals.
And he doesn't have like, and he has this sort of like, I don't know if I'd say budding like relationship with Creepy Girl, but like out in public, he'll just be like, "Hey, babe," like it's not like he's hiding anything.
Yeah.
In terms of like, hey, if I was single, probably.
No, I don't think it's You don't need to be single.
Is that true?
He doesn't need to be. Some
Apparently
people,
so.
You need to be single. You need to be single. You don't need to be single.
You need to be quiet.
Permission.
Who needs to be single? I do.
Yeah, like you can't. No, you don't need to be single. Like to have a creepy girl in Florida. Like you need to be single.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You're doing okay at home.
Yeah. So thank you, first time Mike. He says the Buffalo Bill commemorative tuck dance video. That could get out, MZ.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What would you think about
that's
that?
That's very true.
That is
very true.
You wouldn't like you.
If
you might have like one less
one less ride to take.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why I did that is, well, first of all,
you would not
to
be
fulfill
ashamed.
my obligation,
right? But you would not be ashamed of it.
I'm not ashamed of it.
I know,
but also because I have nothing but the utmost faith and competence and trust in the person who filmed it.
Well, that's like one of my best friends in the world. How can I word this diplomatically? I think I probably could like get that thing out in the world if I traded her some Alf Pod.
Oh, he's talking about me.
Oh.
Yeah.
I filmed it.
Oh, well, who filmed it? Like,
yeah, he filmed it.
But
well, I appreciate that, MZ. I would never.
I trust him. I say the same thing, but I couldn't buy him with Alf Pods for a while.
You know, unless he gets hacked.
I don't actually. I had it on a Dropbox. I don't know if it's there anymore. I think I took it down because it was taking too much room.
Could be.
So I think it's on the computer, and I think it's not able to be accessed online unless someone had access to the computer.
Scooter computer and Mr. Chips. He's got the answer at your fingertips. I couldn't do that.
But I mean, overall, I'm not ashamed of it, really, in the slightest.
No, I mean, I physically couldn't do that. I'm a grower, not a shower. I'm Irish.
Well, I wasn't showing anything either.
I know.
I don't know how you tuck those.
I don't know
how you tuck those beanbags behind your legs.
You know my favorite part of that night.
My skin was stretching, man. It was like a rubber band.
I had forgotten. I don't know if Aries even knows this story. So he's naked next door, right, in the room next door to the studio, right?
Oh, you've never seen it,
right? And you don't want it. And he had his
you
clothes.
See it, Aries?
He had his clothes in here, right? So I took off like all of his clothes, like he had his underwear, his socks, and everything. And he like hid him in the closet, right? He thought he hid him, right? So I when he went in, took off all my clothes, right?
Oh yeah.
And put on all his clothes, right? Right down to his work boots. Who was just sitting here messing around with the computer. And he went in, and his clothes weren't there, and he lost his mind, and he was walking by, looking everywhere. He did not notice. Like, I finally had to tell him that I had his fucking clothes on. He had no, like, I'm sitting there with this big giant, like Red Sox sweatshirt, and like, you know.
Was it really baggy in the crotch?
I didn't know.
Having Rufus and Ronaldo
occupy
that
just because I wear a different kind of jeans. The place that I was most conscious was that it was baggy in like the knees and like ankles. You know what I mean? Like that
baggy in the knees.
That felt weird to me, like because my jeans are always like the lower part is always tighter, right? So like it felt weird. Like it felt like I was wearing bell bottoms to have like jeans that like flared out at the bottom instead of like got tighter. But like,
were you wearing his underwear?
Yeah, he was.
I threw that pair out.
Along with his hair, with Dynamo's hair.
But I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of that at all. No.
I know, like there's nothing like You kind of have no shame. There's nothing that anyone
I have no moral compass.
could
I
have
no
against
shame.
you, really.
I have no filter. I'm just a wreck.
All right, we got one more voicemail, and it would be from Dynamo's kid.
Yeah, with my sperm.
The best part of his sperm.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Jesse G might have something to say about that, but he's in the running.
Well, if Jesse G can't get in our chat room, then maybe not. He keeps talking on
maybe his Raven Shadows
on YouTube. So let's hear from Dynamo's kid, Pabst.
Hey guys, it's Paps. I'm just calling in this week. So last Thursday, Rebecca and I went into Providence, and we got to catch a screening of one of my favorite shitty movies, Deathbed, the Bed That Eats, at the the Columbus Theater.
I could tell that was brutal the whole time.
And so, we got like dinner and stuff before that, and so we we go inside and we're walking up the stairs, and who do we see with like 3 tables fucking filled with VHS tapes but Jared Blinkhorn.
Yeah.
And it was really great, hanging out with him and shooting the shit for a while.
That might be
that dude's
dad.
so nice. He's fucking hilarious. But yeah, we picked up a fuckload of awesome VHS from him. We got Manhunter, which I have not seen yet, but I am very much looking forward to. I know you guys really dig it. I'm interested to see Hannibal Lecter, portrayed by someone who's not Anthony Hopkins or some stupid fucking young actor. So that'll be interesting. Little side note: I do love Mads Mikkelsen as Hannibal, or at least I love season 1. But anyways, I also got Misery. Got Near Dark, which I think is one of the best vampire movies ever. Got The Thing, which is my favorite movie ever, probably. We got Cat's Eye. We got Creepshow. We got Jacob's Ladder, which is one of Rebecca's favorite movies. We got Clue, which I love that movie so much. What a star-studded cast. We got a movie that scared the shit out of me when I was younger, Gremlins. Which we recently rewatched over the weekend. We were like super fucking sick. And that movie is outrageous. And Jared Blinkhorn also threw in Gremlins 2, the new batch, which I had not seen all of. But that movie is equally, if not more, outrageous. Hello, cat. Please don't bite me.
I think my kid is.
We also got The Witches. We got Pet Sematary. Got Mars Attacks, and another one that came at the suggestion of Mr. Jared Blinkhorn, and that was Mac and Me, which I have not seen, but looks fucking ridiculous. And also, according to Jared, McDonald's helped to make this movie, through funding or something. I don't know. But Deathbed was a ton of fun, but the real highlight was getting to hang out with that dude. All right, guys, I hope you guys have a good show, and peace.
All right,
Guy's
Paps.
kid was fucked up in that thing.
The cat was going to bite him.
He's talking to cats.
He should have his cat trained by Teddy
He
Hart.
got drunk from hanging around, just being near Jared.
Did you guys see that video of Paul Rudd that I posted?
I did. I loved it.
Isn't that amazing?
The one that he keeps showing the same clip?
Yeah.
Of Mac and Me?
Yeah.
That is fucking amazing.
He's awesome. I do like Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd's awesome.
Yeah.
But I had no idea he was a Mac and Me fan, at least not to that extent. My God. Jesus Christ, that's fucking amazing.
I know he's
video.
selling it, but Conan sells it so well, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fucking awesome.
It's the same fucking clip. It's amazing.
If you want to see something awesome, watch one of the videos of Ron Funches teaching Conan how to play a particular video game or something like that, playing a fighting game together. That shit's amazing. There's one where they play Dragon Ball, and he's like, I just Super Saiyan Goku on you.
The fucking kid in the wheelchair.
That's pretty awesome, though. I'm glad that Paps got to see Blinks.
Yeah.
We sure as hell haven't seen him in a while.
He's been MIA for the longest time.
I know, he's
I talked to him from texting.
Yeah.
Phone, what do you call that? Sexting?
Sexting, maybe.
Yeah.
Depends on what you talk about.
Fucking.
That's something different.
Really?
Do you sext them while you're fucking them?
No.
They talk about DNA. You know, D and his A.
DNA with DSLs.
I'll tell you this, he couldn't handle it.
Handle it? I don't think I can find it.
Shush. No, I love Jared. He's he's a handsome man.
He's the best.
And he's brilliant, and he always offers to like help me out with things, and I just fucking can't pull it together. I think I'm insecure about working with somebody who's so much more talented than me.
Yeah, but you do it on a daily basis.
All the fucking time. Like literally the guy who does
Maybe
sound
not
for
daily,
us
but
is like 10 times better at everything I do than I do it. Like usually the people who are selling our t-shirts are better singers than I am, so but I get it. I mean, it's only like that's why I like hanging around Monster Zero so much. Actually, Monster Zero, I remember playing those fucking dumb band games, and Monster Zero is a much better singer than I am.
Oh, please.
Yeah, you were a pretty good singer.
I got a horrible voice for singing.
What about for phone sex?
Love.
First time Mike says Deathbed is amazing. Weird on a level I can't explain.
Yeah, Deathbed is pretty fucking out there.
I've never seen it.
No? Ah, you should check it out.
The original? The bed that eats?
Yeah.
Not the 2002
No, the original Deathbed.
Written and directed by George Barry. Like I know who that is. He did Death. Okay, so he just did that. That's it.
So you excited about live Trick or Treat Radio, Monster Zero?
Yeah, I'm always excited when we do a live show.
Are you gonna have a lot of people coming?
I hope so.
Because I have no friends in this area, so it's not gonna work out good for me. It's all up to you this time.
Oh, great!
That's all up to you.
I'll
Mars,
just be the Pied Piper and just
Pied Piper masturbation. Maybe.
That's me, by the way. Though maybe there will be a live on stage reunion of the greatest masturbatory faction of all time. Tiny White, Monster Zero, and Dynamo Mars, the Freebirds of masturbation.
What about the Nation of Masturbation?
Yeah, they were overrated. Not as good as the Fabulous Freebirds of masturbation. Aries, like this is like an NWO. Aries is like
Masturbation Nation.
Is like jacking off.
Do we have a title? Oh boy. That'd go dynamo. Whew.
All right.
I love the fact that you went from full on cackle to pick up your phone
Yeah.
and get serious text. And then to it a little chuckle.
Getting in trouble on the podcast.
First time Mike wants to know, Mars, where did you get your AD&D shirt?
I got that from my Dungeon Master, Evil Paul. He knew I'd been having a bad few days, and he bought me a present.
That makes sense because Temple of Elemental Evil Paul.
Yeah, it was like the fucking I put a text
Show it.
Yeah,
it's nice.
It is pretty cool.
Looks like a dress on you, but it's nice.
It's that diet at work.
That diet. No, that's really cool. That's like the fucking classic, man. Temple of Elemental Evil.
Finally, though, my original DM, Brian Kokonak, admitted he was being cruel. So, for those
after 30 years,
for those of you who haven't heard the story, we were playing the Temple of Elemental Evil, and we did all the stuff that you do in a game. Like you get, you talk to NPCs, you get fucking loot, you do everything. And then we journeyed and got into the Temple of Elemental Evil. For 4 months, we fought fucking demons. Some of the characters died and got mad and never came back again. Our 6-person party turned to 4 people, like because people got eaten by green slime and got mad.
Yep.
My character fucking lost a hand. We went in 8th level, and all of us came out in between 3 and 4th level because we met so much undead, and in old D&D, undead drain your levels. And we were like, we fucking thought we beat the Temple of Elemental Evil. We kicked open this bulkhead, and I'll never forget it. He looked over his fucking DM screen. He used to have we used to candles because we never kissed a girl. And he goes, before you it stands, eclipsing the sun, the gigantic evil structure that stands before you chills you to your bone. You are staring upon the temple of elemental evil. And I'm a tiny going, what? And we were like, where are we? He goes, oh, you guys were just in the moat house. So for like months, we were fighting in the fucking moat house. It's like the fucking
amazing.
mud room of the temple of elemental evil. And like we
How
were
long
supposed
did it take to get through it?
We ended up fucking stopping and like we died. Everybody died, and we made some more characters, but we started at 4th, so those characters didn't get any further. So we were just like, let's play a different adventure, please.
I remember Ledger was telling us stories about.
Yeah. Me and him often remember because those old adventures were fucking hard.
Yeah. It's fucking awesome. All right, well, that is it for voicemail. I guess we can start to wind things down.
Hey, did you guys know I found out something very that I didn't know?
What?
We'll talk about this more in a later show. We'll call this a cliffhanger, but I found out you guys have met my sons, right? All of them, all.
Yes. I think, well,
the young
ones we know about.
The young ones and the really old, ugly ones that I hope,
yes.
I hope finally go away. I found out I have a lady, I have a daughter.
You do not.
I do.
I don't think your sperm could produce a daughter.
Well, I didn't think so either.
Too much toxic masculinity in those days.
No. I didn't think so either, but that's what happened. So.
Okay, who is it?
I can't talk about it. I don't know.
You just did.
Well, no, I'm not gonna out them. That's embarrassing.
Well, then
first of all, they're related because it's important to know it's a different dimension of me. First of all, it's like bad enough that I'm their dad, right? Second of all, it means they're somehow related to Fabio Frizzi. Like, it's just not good. So, yeah, I found that out the other day.
All right.
I feel terrible.
Maybe we'll end on that cliffhanger.
Yeah.
We'll do the DNA test. We'll find out who it is.
Maybe she's from Africa. Like
North
0.
Africa, 1%.
Yeah, you fucking
No,
asshole.
that I updated.
Oh, you updated your DNA test?
No, they update and they inform me, and that's all gone. So I'm
it's
no
all gone.
Longer, yeah, it's.
Oh my God, your claim to fame.
I'm no longer 1% black. Kind of disappoints
and not
me.
black. It was African American.
You asshole.
It was African. Yeah, North
African American, whatever. Either way, I'm not.
Different.
African American from.
Whatever. I don't give a shit.
So obviously, duh.
So I guess we'll never see Malcolm Zero ever again.
So what are they claiming now?
Oh, he's gonna look it up.
Yeah, hold on.
Was there anything new?
Well, it's more of like a cleaning up of the
well, that's
of
not
the
a
DNA.
Good,
You know.
Yeah. Was
cleaning up the DNA pool?
Yeah, was somebody in your fucking DNA thing named Fritz?
69%. I'm 69%
Nazi, German,
French.
Okay.
I'm 15% Irish and Scottish.
That's not true.
8% Germanic Europe. 5% Eastern Europe and Russian.
Oh, you got an in for Putin? Can you get us in touch? Maybe you know our listener in Kostroma, Russia.
Yeah.
Because Russia's so small.
Right.
And 3% England, Wales, and Northwestern Europe. And my closer immediate family, a couple generations behind.
How many fucking things are in you? If they just fucking write all the nationalities, they have to be right sometime.
Look, that's how it works. That's how it works.
Why is it color coded? And they got all this from one little bit of spit you sent a year and a half ago.
That's right.
That's fucking.
That was like 5 years ago now.
No, it wasn't.
That's fucking pro wrestling right there that you have. You spit in a bag, and they send you any old shit, and you have no reason to not believe them. This is Jiffy Lube all over again.
What's wrong with?
Tell them your spit is wrong, and you want another fake test.
Would you do it? Would you do it?
You should just send some sperm.
Because I know what I am.
Yeah, we know what you are too. But what about what's inside?
Hey, whatever. I'll tell you what will be inside you later. Me.
Yeah, you wish.
But anyway,
Aries, you're driving his ass home tonight. I don't trust this guy.
But listen, I know because grandparents were from Ireland.
Maybe they lied.
My great-grandparents were right off the boat. Well, my great-grandparents were from Ireland, right? On both sides. My grandmother and my grandmother. My Mimi and my granddad, right?
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother who raised me's parents were right off the boat from Sweden, right?
Okay.
Her husband's parents were right off the boat from Ireland. And I think a little Scottish, right? So I am pretty much 75% Irish and 25%
I bet the
Swedish.
DNA test will say something different.
Yeah.
DNA test could say any old fucking crazy thing.
Well,
I'm
right
just-
now you're just saying old crazy.
No,
crazy
because
old
I know
fucking
where my
thing.
fucking family's from. None of this involved me spitting into a fucking bag, mailing it, and then fucking strangers telling me
Scientists.
Scientists.
How do you know this scientist?
Yeah.
What do you mean? How do I know this scientist?
That's a pretty
what,
cut and
what,
dry
What do you
question.
think they would be?
Con artists?
Right.
Con artists. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't actually know they're scientists.
You just assume they're scientists.
right. That's a problem.
Just like you have scientists who assume that what we eat in our food is healthy or unhealthy.
It's not. It's not.
That's not a.
The American diet is the worst on the fucking planet.
No, but you eat healthy, right?
Well,
how do you know that what
healthier.
you eat is? How do you know that what you eat is legitimately healthy?
Because
how do you
I've
know
actually
that
researched it.
But how do you know? So you research it. So what?
Yeah, but
what makes it? Who's
you're
to say? But who's
you're
to say?
assuming there's a scientist.
You're assuming that
I'm
this-
reading reports.
You're assuming that the research that you've done on the stuff that you eat is legit.
But
It's
he
the
can track back and get names of the people who are doing the research. You can't.
Like who? like who? Like who could he?
But if he
contact with?
backtracked,
Even if he did, who's to say that they're not lying? Who's to say that
because
they're not lying?
there is a paper trail.
Many reports.
If he wanted to, he could trace it back to their colleges.
Mhm.
You cannot.
That could be faked. Anything can be faked. If you're going to say that this is fake, anything can be faked.
True, but it's a lot easier
I'm not
to fake
saying
what
it's,
you're
I'm
doing.
not saying it's fake. He is.
No, but I'm
I
just.
am.
Who's
I,
saying
no, I
it's
understand.
fake? Not
No,
me.
I understand that, but I'm just saying
that
that
is
if
The
fake.
DNA test.
Yeah, no, that is fake.
Yeah, yeah.
Stanley Kubrick.
What?
Fucking moon landing faker.
Hey, I was told for the longest time from my folks that I had Native American in me, and it turns out I had
You and
none.
Elizabeth Warren both.
Don't compare me with her, please.
Why?
Just don't.
Why?
I just told you, just don't.
You brought up exactly what she said.
Yeah. So yeah, but he brought her up.
Yeah.
But you gave the exact parallel.
Yeah, but what is it?
relatives-
Yeah, but
your-
what does that have to do with? What does that have to do with me?
Because that's exactly what she said.
Congratulations for her. I don't give a shit. I'm not talking about her. Fuck her.
If you said what she said, there's a parallel. He can bring it up.
Wonderful parallel. Now let's get back to what I was talking about.
Jesus Christ. Go ahead.
I'm telling the ancestry thing is legit. They have TV shows that have
Here we
these
go
things.
about TV shows and news.
They have
Wait,
TV
are you
shows
saying the
on this
X-Files is
stuff.
real?
Huh?
Are you saying the X-Files is real?
X-Files? What the hell are you talking?
That's a TV show.
Big deal. So is the Wheel of Fortune. What's your point?
You're saying because it's a TV show, it's real.
No, you're not listening to me.
I am.
There's I can't remember the name of the show. I think it's on TLC.
Oh,
it's on
there we
TLC
go.
or History Channel, one of those.
Go chase.
I think it's called Who Do You Think You Are? I think that's what it's called. And it shows people learning their ancestry.
Yeah, but they could have fucking sent back that you were from Middle Earth. You're gonna believe a fucking
you'd
bunch
believe
of
that.
a bunch of fucking Bilbo Saggins. You're gonna believe a bunch of strangers, but now all of a sudden your parents are fucking liars. Don't they know what their ancestry is?
My parents told me that I had Native American in
but
me.
wouldn't they know what their ancestry is?
My parents?
Yeah.
I would assume that they did.
They knew their parents.
I would
right?
assume that they did,
Who
but it
knew
turns
their
out they were
parents?
wrong.
How do you know they're wrong?
Or these
that thing's full of shit.
These people that you're sending your spit to were wrong.
It's not even like you fucking snap the carrot into a bag. It's your fucking spit.
Yeah. That's all you need.
No.
Why do you think they swab a cheek to do DNA tests on criminals and shit?
It is true. That's all you need.
I mean, what?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, yeah,
they do it all the
they
time.
don't need more, but you do need a legitimate test facility.
Right.
I mean, they're backtracking on what they told you because of the public outcry of that every person got a little bit of African heritage.
Yeah, like they changed it.
And now
like,
they're backtracking. Oh, no, we were
incredulous?
wrong. Not everyone has that.
No, it's updated. They do updates.
Yeah,
okay?
but why do they get the information from? How do they keep the sample?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Nothing changed.
I don't know. I don't work there.
No one works there. It's some dude
Oh,
in
God.
his fucking mom's basement.
They swab. They swab cheeks, the inside of cheeks, for DNA
Butt cheeks.
testings. For DNA testing, they do it all the time. What's the difference between that and this? That's what I thought.
I don't even know what you mean. Like you spit in a bag, right?
You spit in a tube, then you put it in a bag.
Right.
And
Yeah.
where does that go?
It goes to the ancestry.
The Hall of
the labs. I don't know. I
Meanwhile,
don't
at the
remember
Hall
where
of
it goes.
Ancestors.
I don't remember exactly where it goes. Like what city and state. I don't know that.
So you don't know anything fucking about this, but your parents are fucking liars.
Oh God.
But essentially, the ancestry labs could be across the street here in this factory.
I don't know where they are. You mail it out and you get the results back. I don't know what else there is to say. It could be in Cleveland for all I know. I don't know. I didn't pay attention
You're
to
right.
that.
You don't know. So this could be a load of shit.
Oh, I think you're a load of shit.
Why is that so difficult for you to admit that could be a load of shit?
To believe that this is a load of shit is to believe that anything is a load of shit.
That's deep, man.
All right.
Okay. So can you say that this could possibly be a load of shit?
Anything can be a load of shit.
So yes.
Yes.
Anything can be. Sure. Anything can be a load of shit.
Alexa, NASA, the talkies.
Yeah. That could all be bullshit. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe could be a
No, because I'm looking at He-Man. I sold $500 of He-Man recently. I know that's not bullshit. This
is not bullshit.
I know.
That's true. That's true.
I know
That's
Mixtape
quality.
Massacre is real. You know how I know it? I know Mixtape Massacre is real. You know how I know?
That's
do you
not bullshit.
I sent Mixtape Massacre money.
Yeah.
Or someone here sent Mixtape Massacre money.
That was me.
Right? And they sent a fucking game back.
Okay.
Right? You sent fucking spit, which is not very good commerce, right? And they sent you back any old fucking shit. And then changed it.
How do you know it's any old fucking
They
shit?
changed it. They said this is
It's
it.
updated.
What did your fucking ancestry update?
Like your phone. Your phone updates. How do you know that ain't bullshit? All right, let me ask
DNA
you
doesn't
this.
change.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe in God?
I believe. What if he was one of us? Just a straight
All right. You're not going to answer
Alanis
that
Morissette
straight.
is God, right?
You're not going to answer that straightly.
We get into the good stuff right at the end. Wow. So we found out DNA tests are not real. We found out that apparently eating vegan is bullshit. I'm just as unhealthy as everyone else because the science lies. And what else have we learned?
I don't know.
Everything's bullshit. Everything has a possibility of being bullshit.
It's true.
Maybe we should end on that high note.
It's about as high as it's going to get.
It'd be bad enough if they didn't fucking change it. So you all of a sudden, did you fucking get radiate? Did you fucking walk through an alternate reality wormhole? And now you have a different nationality?
My mother has an old history book on our family lineage. It's old. It's
Is that the one that says you're part Native American?
No,
Okay.
but it does say that we have ancestry. We have ancestors who came in from Canada, which is exactly what it says here. Quebec. Let's see. New Brunswick, Northern Maine.
So
French
you're related
settlers.
to the Quebecers?
Yes. Yes, we are. Jacques and Raymond. They were Mounties.
So what's in that thing? She has an old what?
I just told you. It's like an old.
But does it say you're Native American?
To be perfectly honest with you, I don't know. I haven't read it in the longest time. I should look at it again, to be perfectly honest.
Why don't you just spit on it and have it tell you?
Yeah, you're funny.
I'll tell you what.
And here you are thinking that you're
Talking to the mics.
Here you are thinking that you're 75% Irish, where you very well could be, you know.
Because I know my fucking ancestors.
Yeah, but you don't know it's 75.
Yeah,
Well,
it could be 70.
Could be.
No,
I'd
no,
take
no.
that.
Don't laugh at that. Don't
It could
laugh
be
at that.
74.7.
No. Don't laugh at that, because if it's 70 as opposed to 75, then it's 5% of something else, and that 5% could be Scottish, like you mentioned before, or it could be something else.
Yeah, there is some Scottish in there. It's not exactly, but I know that I'm predominantly Irish with a little bit of Swedish.
By the way, Kexy's hanging out, and Kex says, "Oh, I want to give MZ a hug." Poor guy.
I know, right?
Well,
Kex is no longer your brother, though.
He is 1% African.
He was.
Was before
until the
fucking-
update.
Before he fucking went through the annihilation field or whatever.
Hey.
Now he's 75% Fern.
By the way, Mars, on Instagram, on the picture you posted for the show, someone said, "Looking good for old dudes."
Who
What's
said
the
that?
person's name?
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to call him out. You can look at it.
Well,
on
then
your own.
we'll have to look at it.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
You can get offended? Someone
I
called you
know.
old? Get
we
over
are
it.
old.
You're
we
old.
are fucking old. Jesus. As Mars found out a couple weeks ago, we're past middle aged. If we go by life expectancy.
Well past.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got to wind this shit down because
if I live to be 100, I'm middle aged.
Aries, do you have to work tonight?
I don't have to work tonight. No.
Oh, that's good. Is it not going to be bad enough?
No, I actually turned down the overtime.
Oh, I got you. He's just rolling in money. He doesn't need it.
No, I had other reasons to turn it down.
All right, so let's go around the room and say our goodbyes, MZ.
Yeah, arrivederci, douchebag. Go,
Goosebags.
Goosebags. Arrivederci, goosebag.
Goosebags.
The hell with it.
All right, Aries.
Goodbye.
Mars.
I don't know who this is who called me old, but I'll fight him in the street.
I know who
am
it is.
not
I'll tell you
old.
off the air.
I am not old. I'm not.
You said you were old a couple weeks ago.
No, I'm not. And I ain't fucking spitting at anything to figure it out.
He'll probably tell you that you're 10 years older.
Fucking spit into the face of fucking God right on the bus. What am I doing?
You're saying goodbye.
Oh. On the darkest day, on the brightest night, no
Oh, my
evil will
God.
escape our fight. All right,
Fight!
Remember, children, wherever you go, there you are.
Oh, you're back. He's back.
I just did that because my kid is watching. Both of
yeah.
them.
So let me just check, close out the chat room here. We have people saying good night, Evil Corny. He says MZ's not black anymore, but he gets 4G with that last update. Double Eyeballs. I don't know who that is, but Double Eyeballs is hanging out. Kex says good night.
You know who that is?
No.
Is that an egg?
That's an egg.
Yeah, it's my daughter.
Oh, that's your daughter, huh?
Yeah.
Double Eyeballs?
Yeah.
All right. So, well, that is going to do it for episode 344. Appreciate Freddie joining us. It was always a pleasure having Fred join us, and everyone.
That dude's the best.
Yeah, he's awesome. Fred's so fucking cool, man. And you guys should really check out the Kickstarter campaign that's going to be starting on Wednesday, March 6th for Mixtape Massacre: Escape from Tall Oaks. It's going to be it's going to be the fucking bomb. It's going to be the shit. Check out the game. It sounds amazing, and give that Kickstarter a look and help support it. And Also want to big shout out to everyone who hung out in the chat room tonight, everyone who joined in with the feedback, everyone who's going to check out the podcast on Fridays. We appreciate you guys. So from everyone here at Castle Wolfenstein, we'll see you next week.